Hi everyone, I'm G Virus. Let's start with a roll call. So I'm G Virus. I ran Axiom Verge at AGDQ 2016, quite infamously so, by completely destroying my own run and discovering in the process that VSync is the real final boss of this game. And then at SGDQ 2018, where it went a lot better. And yeah, just go, guys. We also have video game roulette. Let's start with you, BGR.
Am I muted? There we go. How's it going, everybody? I'm PGR, and some of you guys might know me from the No Reset marathons. I ran both Axiom Verge Any Percent and Any Percent Randomizer over at No Reset, and I've also ran quite a few other categories in this and helped form some of the strats that you're going to be seeing during this showcase. So I hope you guys enjoy.
All right, I guess I'll go next then. I'm Willow. I'm going to be running Axiom Verge 100% items, maps, and bosses as our first run of the night here. I've been running Axiom Verge since about this past September. Known these guys for a while. They're all real cool. And be submitting it to SGDQ, so we'll see what happens. Falcon, you want to go next?
Sure. So I am Falcon Streak 02. I am our consummate console runner of this game. For those of you that remember G-Virus's run that he was alluding to with the VSync issues, I'm that one guy who loves the pain and torture of playing with VSync on, apparently. So my main runs are the no major glitches category. That's my contribution. So
Awesome. And I mean, last but not least, we have a very special guest with us tonight on GDQ Hotfix for the Community Spotlight of Axiom Verge. I'll let him introduce himself.
I don't know how special, but I guess I'll count as. So I'm the business/marketing half of the Axiom Verge team. So Tom Happ, the guy who everyone would much rather hear from, is the guy who made the game. I have just been working with him for the last, 5+ years on helping spread the gospel of Axiom Verge, and we've been. It's been a great run.
And I mean, you always downplay your involvement in the game, and I keep telling you this, but once again, like if the word doesn't get out that this amazing game exists, then it wouldn't have the status that it has today. So honestly, it's a team effort. Tom is the cook, but you're most definitely the server that makes sure that everyone gets it on their plate. So
yeah,
thanks for
I'll take that.
Yeah, truly, Dan. Thank you for everything you did for this game too.
Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, I always want to give Tom credit because, man, that's just such an amazing achievement to make an entire game. The coding, the design, the art, the animations, the music, story, all of that stuff. So yeah, in terms of, I never want to take credit for his masterpiece there.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and Tom, we cannot. There's no way to overstate how amazing, or actually how he is an artist in the truest form of the word. Meaning that he composed the soundtrack, he made the level design, he did all the pixel art, the story, everything. It all comes from his mind. It's basically his brain just exported into a video game form, and it's just amazing to think that one person could do all of that. And it took him about 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. And he did it evenings and weekends because he had a day job. So he'd come home after a long day of making another game, and then he would instead of just sitting down watching TV and vegging like normal people do, it's like, I am going to work on my other game. So yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's start it with a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
go.
So as you can tell, insofar, this is a game about waking up in an egg, and then everything just kind of goes downhill from there.
Yeah, it's the egg game.
So Humpty Dumpty there just fell off the wall and he's going to get a gun because he's not happy.
So yeah, for people who aren't familiar, who haven't played it, there's a dedicated speedrun mode to the game. So normally, if you were to play it, in the normal story mode, there would be like little exposition, like text and dialogue. So the speedrun mode just gets rid of all of that. So if you're kind of like, I have no idea what's going on, why this person's like in this alien world and shooting stuff, the game would explain that. But we're gonna skip past all that so we can just see the speed run.
Which is a good thing in a way, because everyone who haven't played the game yet and want to dive deep into the lore, it's a very rich universe, and when you collect all the notes and everything, you can really start to flesh out this whole world that's been created by Tom. And but you won't get any spoilers here, other than, let's say, the actual boss designs and whatnot. And we've just been joined by Alchemist. Maybe.
Somebody sounds like they're in a high school gymnasium.
And if I may too, another great thing about running in speedrun mode is that a lot of the enemy placements and things of that nature are fixed. So when we're going into each room, we know where we're going. We know which enemies will drop health if we're low on health. We know which enemies will always drop health. So that really kind of allows us to play the game the same way every time, if we really need to.
Unless...
Yeah, which helps a significant amount. I tried doing a speedrun the other day on just regular story mode, and it was significantly different just between the RNG alone.
And basically what I was saying is that unless, if you have VSync on, some rooms have different enemy placement. And that's one of the things we've discovered. Well, I discovered the hard way with 90,000 viewers watching me fail over and over again. That was a great time. That was one of my fondest speedrunning memories.
Falcon recently set the console world record in 80% no major glitches.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Forced VSync on, which loses about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and makes the game also, red code does less damage. The address disruptor corrupts enemies slower. It's a lot of it is frame based, so by running VSync, the frame rate is lower and it's actually locked. Makes a lot of things slower.
Yeah, as I said, I'm a big fan of pain and suffering, so I decided to take that on for the community.
Thank you for bearing my cause.
You're welcome, my friend. Anything I can do.
And, so here we have Zeter, who's like most bosses in this game, not a pretty sight to behold. A face only a mother could love.
Yep.
And
he goes down pretty quick. You just stand in the right position and you try to hit red gun in the correct rhythm, which is roughly eighth note triplets at 380 BPM.
I'd never known.
I had no idea either, but I've had many people tell me that when I first started running this game, because a lot of new runners miss a lot of shots with because they're mashing way too fast.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I can never beat him as quickly as the speedrunners do, and I was wondering what I'm doing wrong. I'm hitting the button as fast as I could, and still somehow everyone, the speedrunners, the good speedrunners, can do it way better than me. So now I know.
It's because we're not doing it as fast as possible. Instead, we are doing it at a perfect rhythm, so this way our shots don't get eaten by our inputs, which would be considered ghost inputting.
Absolutely. One of those go slow to go fast scenarios, and every weapon has different rhythm or a different micro cooldown, if you will. So let's say the Kilver is not the same rhythm, the Axiom Disruptor is not the same rhythm. The Flamethrower is the exception because it's literally an automatic weapon of raining hell. But we'll get to that because in this category we actually get the Flamethrower.
Yes,
That's right.
We get every available weapon in this category. So this is 100% IMB. Axiom Verge has a couple different ways that you can define 100%. The only two that we have leaderboards for are 100% of items and then 100% item map and boss, which is what this is. We don't do 100% map only because that just sounds like a painful speed run. But we will be collecting every available weapon, every available power up, and every single map tile, and that includes the ones that I've been missing so far. Because since this is Metroidvania, you get some pretty intense movement upgrades as you go.
And also, I just read in Twitch chat, I've seen a couple people asking, is there save manipulation allowed in this route? And yes, there is. You're going to see a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes. So the first about 23 minutes of 100% INB run is just an any percent no major glitches run, with a couple extra like save room map tiles, and that is because every category in this game starts about the same. And we do a major sequence break by going through this unbelievably brutal gauntlet for about 20 minutes, and then save warping all the way back to the start. And that allows us to skip a progression item and collect that later. This is another
Yeah,
instance where there's a bit of a weird movement from map tiles. Sorry, go ahead.
So I think somebody described in the. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over anyone. I was just going to say, describe what save warping is, in case anyone didn't know what it was.
So in this game, when you die or when you exit, the game actually saves your progress and just returns you back to your last used save point, which I haven't used any so far. So you'll see me open up the pause menu real quick and then press up twice and then mash A as fast as humanly possible. So that tells it to exit to the title screen, which will save my progress. That takes me back to speedrun mode, and then the first option is continue. So that allows me to travel back real quick when it would be faster just to teleport there than walk. It takes about 13 seconds to do a save warp.
Right.
Whereas walking back could take up to 6 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other nice thing is that
second
you
boss
keep all of your stuff too. So just from like quitting out and teleporting back, you don't lose anything.
And so you see right here,
absolutely.
Willow's working on our second boss, Talal here, which casually is probably one of the biggest pains in the you-know-what. But in speedrun mode, we kind of figured out we can just kind of damage boost right through him, get behind him, and you can just hammer into his brain as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we just walk right through him.
Funny fact, Tom actually was the one that told us about that cheese strat on Twitter because someone was complaining about how hard Talal was, and then he's like, why don't you just cheese him? And everyone was like, what?
That's amazing. I've never actually fought Talal the casual way. I tried to fight him once during my casual playthrough, and I was immediately like, no, this is not happening. So I googled the speedrun strat for it.
By the way, I think it's just worth noting that you actually got the bubble glitch sequence in one cycle, which is actually a pretty tight timing. As soon as you enter the room after the boss fight, you need to grab the address disruptor, which is the weapon, the fat beam that corrupts enemies. You need to get it as fast as possible, and then you can glitch out some platforms that are invisible at first. And in doing so, with very precise timing and as fast as you can actually get those bubbles that when you glitch them, you can actually glitch them into being platforms that float up instead of just being a bubble that you actually go through.
Yeah, getting the first one there is a little bit of tight timing, but with a small amount of practice, it's fairly easy. The glitch gun actually goes significantly slower on console, so it's, I want to say, a half-second window to make that jump, but on PC it's fairly lenient.
Through extensive testing, I can confirm that's a pretty tight window. I don't know if it's exactly a half second, but it's in that ball.
Yeah. Well, we're actually we're doing pretty good on health for Enter Z. So all the areas in this game have names. So the one that you start out in is Arabu. The one that I just went through right there is called Absu, and this is Z. And they all have their own different like themes and colorscapes and enemies, and it's very aesthetically pleasing.
Fun fact about the zones, Tom does not even know them by name. He just knows them as Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, and so on and so forth.
That makes me feel so much better, actually. Just a big lie.
I'm actually the same way. We were talking about that because, like, when we were doing all the play testing, when the game was like, I don't know, 80% done, and it was always, we would always talk about each of the zones by their number. And then it was only like right before we launched that somebody, I want to say it was Nick Sutner at Sony, was like, you should give these places names. You can't just call it Zone 1, Zone 2. And so Tom was like, okay, and came up with those names in like, 15 minutes, and put them in the game. And yeah, and I don't know if they're tied into the lore in any way. I don't know how he came up with those. Those wouldn't be the names that would naturally just come to mind for me. But then again, I wouldn't have been able to make this game in the first place. So,
I mean, they sound Sudran, they look Sudran. So
yeah,
yeah, I believe they actually
they're mentioned in some of the notes, some of them.
Yeah, well, not only that, I believe it's actually in another language. I think Angie in the chat can confirm for us because she knows way more about the lore than any of us combined.
She probably knows more than Tom at this point in time, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She even writes her own fan fiction. So,
Oh,
she,
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
Angie is our
she-
community encyclopedia. She
Yeah.
knows more about this game than I know about literally anything.
yeah,
She's wonderful. We have much love for her in the community.
yeah.
She also translates most of the Sudran. And to give you a scope, there's, I want to say, 15 notes in this game that you can pick up that provide little more bits. And as I pick them up, she usually names them off.
Yes,
And I have, to this day, no idea what any of them are.
So the Sudrans are the denizens of this world, and the Sumerian, I think, is the language, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yes. Angie just confirmed that in chat.
Oh yeah, there you go.
If I could just take 1 second here again, for anybody who has not played this game before, just again, look at the game and just see all the different areas, the backgrounds, the foregrounds, the weapons. This is one person's creation from start to finish. Just how impressive it really is to put all of this together.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that it actually plays so well, and it's the whole package, and it's so much more than the sum of its parts. It's quite something.
Absolutely.
It's quite magical. And as someone who's actually looked at his code working on the randomizer now, it's just amazing to see someone who actually gets it and builds something like that's meant to be broken, but actually works the way he intended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the drone swap movement is what makes all of this possible. That was technically an exploit, but you left it in for us, and for that we thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Tom's philosophy basically does it deter the experience of the casual player? Will speedrunners be able to use it, and does it break the game? So if it doesn't break the game for casual players and speedrunners can use it and it's actually beneficial without being completely game breaking, then why fix something that can actually be useful? And I've read about this somewhere, and a lot of people call it emergent gameplay, whereas people are using just regular elements of a game and use it in completely new ways that weren't even foreseen by the creators, which makes it, it actually expands the longevity and the richness of a game in and of itself. And there's a lot of that going on in Axiom Verge.
So we're doing a little bit of backtracking here to go fight another boss. The area I was just in with all the laser enemies and the crazy platforming, that area is called Kerr, and by volume we spend most of the run there in just about every category because it's unbelievably enormous and there is a huge number of items. So we just went in and we collected something called the Field Disruptor that kind of acts as Axiom Verge's equivalent to the high jump boots that allowed us to cross that gap over here and make a couple jumps in this next room here that we wouldn't be able to otherwise to get up to the boss.
And if you are confused about, the Axiom Disruptor being the first gun, the Address Disruptor being the glitch gun, and the Field Disruptor being the high jump boots, you are not alone.
Welcome to the
Love
club.
disrupting. It's like a San Francisco tech startup in here. The word disruptor is everywhere.
So now we're.
All right, so
we're
this
about
is our
to
next
get
boss,
into-
Aruku. He is a giant slug, and he is not a fan of us in the slightest.
Another face that only a mother could love.
Oh yeah, and I mean, here's another interesting piece of trivia, and that's probably my favorite one. Tom once told me that sometimes he would have nightmares while sleeping, and he would just wake up, and his wife Chloe would be like, "What's the matter?" And then he would just start drawing, and then a boss design would come to life.
That's awesome. I remember
That is
that.
like-
That's
That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Oh, just got taken out by the
Well,
flippers
thank you,
there as
Tom,
is
for
the
having
game.
a Sigmund Freud psychosis.
and thank you, Chloe, for putting up with it.
Absolutely, 100%.
She's the real unsung hero of the story.
She's the real winner of this.
Yep.
The joke in the community is that if you kill Aruku there on the right time, his laser flipper thing will come down, and while you're trying to platform up to the next area, that can get you. About an hour ago, I actually had that kill me and end the run, which was very unpleasant.
We got a good laugh
Fortunately,
at
this time
so.
it just knocked me into the lava.
So the way to cheese this boss is actually pretty risky when you first attempt it, because as you can see, he went straight into the acid, and there's a couple of platforms that you can glitch into existence right below the boss. Those were intended to be used on the way back. So he would glitch those platforms, and then using the item that he just got that allows him to phase through single tile walls, then he would, glitch those platforms to cross without getting damage. But what we do instead is on the way in, we use the second platform, which puts us at the exact position that we need to be able to just blast away at the boss's damage area without getting hit and progressing to the next room without actually fighting this boss, which during a casual playthrough will give you hell.
That
Yes,
is right.
I did a similar strat during my casual playthrough, but on the left side of the room and just taking pot shots whenever he wasn't actively firing at me, and it took about 35 minutes.
I
Also,
think
we
that's like
have
a rite of passage. We all kind of did it that way at first.
yeah.
Yep. I did that in my first 100% speedrun of this game, which was about 4.5 hours.
I mean, technically, every run is a speed run. You're speedrunning the game the first time you play it. Now, we're not going to talk about the time itself, but technically, every run is an any percent run.
Yeah, my first any percent
Very
run in
true.
that situation was about 35 hours.
Also, we have Solar Mongoose in chat saying already glitching through walls. Tisk tisk. Actually,
There
it's
was going to be a lot.
It's not a bug; it's a feature. In this case, it's quite literal.
Yeah, in this game, you can collect a couple different coats, and the coats allow you to go through varying degrees of wall. So right now, I have the light coat. I have to stand next to a single tile thick wall and then double tap direction on the D-pad and hold it after the second one to be able to go through that wall. There's also a brown coat, which we'll begin later, and then later on a red coat, which is our favorite item.
Yeah, so one of the themes that Tom was exploring when, there's the whole glitch gun, and like you can glitch certain enemies, or every enemy can be glitched, and different things can be glitched. Just there, one of the enemies was glitched, and also being able to go through walls. There's also in the non-speed run mode, there are these secret randomly generated areas that are optional. And a lot of that came from Tom's experience playing with a Game Genie back in the day, like back on SNES or Genesis. And, just being able to access areas that were just kind of leftover remnants of code that weren't ever meant to be seen by actual players. And you could like go through walls and you could break stuff. And to him, he was saying like that was more fun than the game itself once he kind of learned how to do that and just kind of playing around to see what would happen if he kind of broke the game in that way. So he included all of that stuff as an actual game mechanic.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually. That's the first time I've heard about it, and I've heard a lot about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glitch aesthetic in this game is very, very cool, especially that all of our upgrades are some form of glitch. I think the official flavor text for the field disruptor is that it modifies the context of the gravity well surrounding you so that you can boost your own jump height. And there's a whole lot of things like that. We're currently on our way to get our upgrade to the glitch gun, which is 82, or Address Disruptor 2. It's got a neat little mini dungeon around it, and the item that we just picked up there is the drone, which is going to come in very much handy. We get a few upgrades to that throughout the run, including launching it a little bit farther and being able to teleport to it, but as of right now, we have a little buddy. This is kind of the Axiom Verge answer to the morph ball. So we have that one block tall passage there, and we just send our friend through, and he doesn't miss the switch for us, so we can get through the door.
And that's another thing about this game is that it truly is a love letter to Tom's kind of favorite series from his youth. And when you think about it, yes, it's a tribute, but it's its own thing. It's completely different. Whereas you're not just morphing, you're not becoming the drone, and then the mechanics expand. And I mean, you'll see what I mean as we progress. I don't want to spoil everything ahead of time, but it's great how he incorporated those elements while making it his own thing.
I loved my casual playthrough of this game because for every single platforming challenge you see, you're like, oh, I know exactly what Metroid power-up I'm going to get around that, and it's always something completely different than that, and I love it.
What I love by my casual playthrough of this game is the sense of exploration and really you didn't know what was coming, both in terms of story, the environments. It's very varied, and you don't know what's going to come at you next, and you get lost in this world in a good way, where you have to find your way out. So it really echoed that same feeling that one of the only games I can think of that actually gave me that feeling was Super Metroid, while also being completely different. So to me, this is high praise, by the way.
And that was actually one of the things. It's actually probably the biggest complaint about the game is that when people get lost, there, so many modern games and Metroidvanias kind of point you to where the next goal should be, and they'll like kind of zoom out the map and then like flash an arrow saying go here next. And people got so used to that, like, and this game doesn't do that. So if, I know this is a speed run, so you don't want to like just jump out to the map and look at the map, but at any given point you could look at where you are in the map and just try to see what you might be missing, and just saying like, well, I haven't gone through that door, and you backtrack there. It takes you like 30 minutes to get there, and you're like, oh, I still don't have the upgrade to get through that door. And so you kind of wander around the map, and as a result you really get to know the map really well. So you kind of remember like, okay, when I get, I know I must be getting a bigger jump soon because there's some areas I can't reach without it, or so you just try to remember all those things. But yeah, that's probably the number one complaint that we had, was people just getting frustrated about not knowing where to go next.
I
Some
actually
people
quite like that.
Yeah,
that's part of
for
the
a lot of
experience for
people, it's their favorite feature, and for some people it's their least favorite feature.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
there's-
enjoyed that there was no hand holding in this, because I always enjoy a real blind experience. When the game's just saying, here, go here, go here, go here, it's like, oh, well, I wanted to go here though.
And
You're
by the
not
way,
playing it right.
I love that game. I love that game, but a perfect example, which it was my main gripe with this game, was that it took you by the hand and it gave you the objectives, was Metroid Fusion.
I was going to say
Mhm.
the same thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
I absolutely adore that game though. Like
I know, I
it's
love
very
it.
strange
It's a
as far as a
great game,
Metroid game
just-
goes, but it's
Right?
it's
It
so
took me a
good.
long time. It grew on me over time. I did not love it as much when it came out, and I played it on my GBA SP, and I was like, okay, that was good. But then Zero Mission came out, and I was completely blown away by it. But Fusion, over time, it grew on me. But also the fact that that hand holding with Adam just telling you where to go, and the map just actually revealing itself almost like a GPS. That was not my favorite part of Fusion. It has a lot of good things going for it, don't get me wrong, but that was not it. So
Yeah.
when Axiom came out and I was genuinely looking for the next place to go to, and I had to kind of rake my brains thinking, okay, I got this upgrade, it does that. Now, which area I've gone through, where have I seen some like a different kind of corruption that I couldn't get through, that I couldn't glitch out, and also, by the way, it uses the gameplay to kind of teach you, but it doesn't spell it out for you. So you kind of have to think about it and work your way through it.
Right. And you're gonna see
Green
a lot
corruption
of that
and the arrow
during.
drove me mad.
Yes, that's exactly the one I was thinking about.
And as I was gonna touch on, you're gonna see a lot of us like thinking of all that kind of stuff when we do our randomizer run, just because in the randomizer, as soon as we get certain items, we're like, oh, this unlocks, so maybe we should check this now, or like we can get to this area, but instead of going here, we should still go through progression because we have a better chance of this showing up. So you're gonna see our paths really divert when we get to that.
Yeah, so you can count this as sort of an introductory run to the audience. You're going to see every item location in the game and what you need to have to get to them. So if you see them miss anything during the randomizer, you can yell at them in chat.
By the way, if you're wondering what's going on right now, he's controlling the boss, and Trace is automated. The hero, his name is Trace, their protagonist.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say why or who or what, but essentially this whole hallucination effect that you've got over the screen, it's all lore based. Play the game, play the story mode. It's absolutely worth it. But now you'll notice that he'll respawn into this room with the giant face. And after that, if he saves and quits, it'll bring him back to the save point that was right before he started going up in that teal area with where the hallucination effect started. The reason why that save point triggers automatically as soon as you enter the room is because when doing testing, Tom realized that if someone got to that point without saving at all and they died, they would go back to the original save point or any other save point that was way before that, but the hallucination effect would stay. As strong as it is, no matter at which point it got, it would just stay there until you got to the point where you beat the boss, and then that's when the trigger disables the hallucination effect. So he kind of used this as a safety net in case someone didn't use any save points by that point.
And thank you to him for that, for making our lives a lot easier.
Yeah, that save point is a very large consideration in our routing, and I believe it's kind of the main one during any percent no major glitches. I don't think you ever actually save after that on an optimal run.
Nope, that is our hub.
Yeah, that's the hub. And I mean, in older routes, we used to save in transit right before Uku. Well, not right before it, but you would use the big head transport thing and stop on the first station on your way up to the big wasp boss. And yeah, so we stopped using that because we realized we could save time by just not saving.
All right, so the item I just picked up it's called the trench coat. We call it brown coat because it's a coat that's brown and we're not very creative. So that upgrades our dash ability, so we can now dash in any direction, and we can go horizontally through 2 tile thick walls and vertically through 1.
I call it
So
the brown
you'll
coat.
see
I call it the brown
quite a
coat
few
because
of
I'm a Firefly fan. Fight me.
And we also just found our newest, fastest movement in the game as well. So we're going to be abusing this mechanic a lot.
Now in this case,
so this is our fastest movement, and my left thumb is going to get an incredible workout right now.
You're also going to notice his routes diverging from any percent now.
Yep.
So for any of you who haven't seen 100% IMB runs, this is the main point where the path thing is going to change a lot.
One thing.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that once I started watching any percent speed runs, I started following that basic structure, like bypassing the entire what's the crap? I'm blanking on the upgrade.
Grapple?
The grapple. Thank you. Yeah. So bypassing that whole thing and then getting very close to the end and then going back and, basically to the beginning and mopping up everything. So I'm kind of interested to see what an actual 100% speed run looks like. Because I would basically get all the way to the point where once I got the red coat, then that's when I would go back to the very beginning and it's great because like some things like the Scorpion boss, which I always found really difficult, if I played it normally, by the time you get to it, you're so overpowered that you can just blast through them and kill them instantly. It's very
good. I love Gertab in this one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is gratifying. And the route that Willow's running right now is actually something that I came up with on the fly. I was watching him run 100% and I was just like, no, I don't like this route. I think there's a better route because I play a lot of randomized that are doing all the testing and stuff like that. And so I kind of know what you need at minimum to do certain things. And so I tried something on the fly and it ended up killing the world record by, what was it at the time? Like 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, I think it was my 142 and you got 128 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. And
I was blown away.
A lot of things have been found in such a short time. In the last year, we've had discoveries like all the grapple zips, the void warp with the drone. It's just amazing to see what the community can put together in just a short time with a few new heads in the game. You know what I mean?
So in any percent no major glitches, which is what used to be called any percent, it's what G-Virus showcased at 2GDQs. You don't get grapple at all. In any percent yes major glitches, you get grapple and you use it to absolutely destroy the game, and 100% is kind of the good middle ground between that.
Yeah.
You get grapple and you kind of mess with the game some.
So what is this grapple glitch thing? I've never heard of that. This is new to me.
Oh, you're
going to see a few.
You'll get to see it. Don't worry about it.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah. I don't want to.
I think it's worth explaining the quick kill because that's where most of my run went.
This is the worst casual boss of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So essentially, he goes into a very specific position, manipulates the boss into this very precise spot, and then he corrupts those little bees that comes out of its butt, and they become bombs. And when you shoot one of them, it creates a chain reaction, and 2 of those bombs into its damage area, which is its mouth, actually kills it, deals enough damage. And in doing so, you can just get a one-hit kill on Uku.
Yeah, it's very, very free. We have a precise setup. 100% is the any percent no major glitches still kills them. We now have a skip for them and yes major glitches, and 100% makes it significantly harder because we have to do all of those frame perfect rocket jumps during the fight to collect the map.
Yeah, that's
Which
another
is
big thing that was
wonderful as it
but
sounds.
skip for this boss. I forgot to mention that. So like when we do randomizer, I think I'll be showing it off. I'm not sure if we're gonna end up in this area. We'll see how the items fly for us, but it's pretty interesting how a little simple thing like the print screen button could end up lagging us through a wall.
Yep.
Right? And it's all because of how the Windows operating system works. It's not something that Tom did wrong or anything. It happens in every single game, and a lot of people don't realize this.
And also,
Sure.
well, about this glitch, where you're talking, it's in Temple, right? The wall to the
Dooku
right.
skip?
Oh,
No, not
the
Nuku Skip. The one where you can get through the wall. There's another wall that you can.
Pizza
use
Strat? Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
doing that in both directions during this.
yeah.
That happened accidentally during Line ETS 2016 when I had Tom on the line, and it just happened live because I was sharing the feed. Back in the day, we're very technically oriented at No Reset, and we were sharing the feed to Tom through Skype screen sharing, which created a lot of lag. And because my frame rate was so low, that's what allowed me to actually just go through that wall. At the time, we didn't know why, but then we realized that, print screen will do it, or any other way to just dip the frame rate in the game.
Yeah, I run on Linux, and print screen unfortunately doesn't generate that much lag here. But we can do it by very quickly full screening and unfull screening the game with Alt Enter.
And once again on console, we are just SOL.
I mean, you said you got one tile through the wall.
I got
It only
one
took,
tile into that
25
wall.
minutes.
It took me 25 minutes. So
It depends
Good
on
luck,
the
guys.
console. On PS4, it's a lot harder, but on the Switch, it's actually
yeah, Switch actually is doable. I'll give you that.
yeah. And that's because of how the operating system on Switch works. When you push the home button, it lags it almost the same way that the computers do when you push print screen.
All right, so here is going to be our first major exploit since the last time this was showcased. So that is a very precise position right there. Anywhere within that heart, you can teleport to drone, kill drone, whatever you want to do to it, as long as drone disappears. There's no collision here for some reason. And then we do this. So if you watch your screen very carefully,
Don't adjust your monitors.
Yep.
allegedly, what's happening here?
I have no idea what's
There we
going
go.
You
on.
might have to.
There we go.
Oh, whoo.
Yeah, I
Okay,
thought I soft locked
so
there
I
for a
thought for a
second.
second you got the soft lock.
so just to explain this glitch here and how it was found, I was looking through the code, and I ended up running into a code for the drone it's a reset position code for if you go out of bounds. And I kind of mentioned it in Discord, and one of our runners, Rare Beef, kind of, sat there and kind of did some testing with it, and ended up coming up with this.
He's our community
So-
coach. We love him for it.
Yeah.
We will pull up a map in not too terribly long. We started that at the bottom left of Kerr, and we are now in the very, 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 very far top right of Kerr. That trick is called Void Warp. So when you fire drone and you hatch the egg out of bounds, it detects that it's out of bounds and tries to apply its last known valid set of coordinates, but it doesn't account for what area it's in. So we just went next door to Z. We set a good, favorable set of drone coordinates for us, and then we went into Kerr, went out of bounds, did that, and that just shoots us up. Because bottom left of Kerr is real close to the top right of Z.
And by the way, there's brains all over chat right now because everyone's mind just got blown.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, my reaction when VGR actually showed me this the first time, because I didn't know about it, and I was like, "What the PG-13?" Like, like it's. I was mind blown. And seeing this happen, he's like, "Yeah, I looked through the code." Like, was being super casual about it, because that's how VGR is. Like, I went through the code and this and that, X and Y coordinates, and then the game gets confused and it sends you to the upper right corner of the map. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and to explain it a little bit further, the way it works, if you were to take all the maps and put them on top of each other, their X and Y coordinates all line up with each other. So you could technically plot out exactly where in one map you need to be with drone to do this in any map, essentially. And we're trying to find other ways to use this. Only at the moment we can use it in Kerr. but we have some theories on how to use it in a few other places. And if it's discovered, we can find a skip straight to Athos. So we're hoping that someone in the community or someone new finds that one thing that we're looking for to open the lock.
Did I
Believe it
lose
or not,
audio?
This is
Okay.
still somehow occur. No, you're good.
Yeah.
I was just
Okay,
quiet
yeah.
for a moment because it was a difficult platforming section.
Mm-hmm.
So this is somehow still Kerr against any and all odds. There's just the very, very upper level where it's very snowy. I'm going to do some awkward map collection with the drone down here to save me some time later on cleanup, because it's even more awkward in late game. And now we're going to get, finally, our third and final upgrade to drone,
By the way,
which is at the bottom of this room.
Upper Kerr is my favorite part of the game. Also has my favorite song of the game. I just love that whole environment for some reason.
You know what the
Probably
best
some
song of this game is, though?
Probably because I'm Canadian, there's snow, VGR.
Every song in this game is the best song in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get hit by the same storm we did? Like, wow. One day it's like a nice spring day almost, and then the next day we are covered with like a foot of snow. I could not believe it.
That's Canadian weather for you.
Yeah.
One day you're getting your bathing suit ready, then the next one you're you're remaking your whole igloo with your beaver pelts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you guys may have just seen that Willow just picked up an item. That is our extended drone launcher. You can see we can throw that egg much, much further now. We're going to be abusing that to get even faster movements than before.
And usually
So
you should
there's supposed to be a cooldown between when you teleport to the drone and the next time you're allowed to fire the drone, but as it turns out, if you fire the glitch gun at any point in there, it cancels that. So it's our fastest form of movement, especially when combined with doing a coat dash and then immediately firing the drone. You can hit some crazy, unbelievable speeds. So
also
that's going to be our main form of movement for the rest of this run.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, to clarify, any tool can be used for this. So drill, the address disruptor, the grapple, although it's not optimal because of how the grapple works. But yeah, any of the tools will reset the cooldown.
There's no collision on that wall for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it makes me happy because I don't have to risk my life going through it.
That has saved me so many times when I was doing my low percent runs.
And that's the wall that I glitched through accidentally during the run that I was talking about. That's Pizza Strat.
Yeah.
One of our best runners in the community did exactly one low percent run, and his submission comment was, "This is a terrible category, and nobody should ever run it." And that's kind of the community joke there.
Right.
Is that low percent is awful because even in 100%, this is a brutal speed.
And one
it's
thing
very, very tough in the beginning to learn some of the strats.
well,
But
this is
low
the
percent is
gatekeeper
just at the entire time.
for most new runners. This room is the gatekeeper. Getting the Sudrin key in this room, because every single creature in Axiom Verge will deal more damage if you get hit by the projectile rather than taking a body hit. So if you take a body hit, it's fine. It's just a scrape. If you get hit in the face, if you get shot in the face by one of those yellow beams right there, it takes a whole chunk out of your life. So the goal here is to kind of bait them with the drone away from Trace, and to make sure that when you do get a hit in, you just take a hit with Trace onto the body of I call them the golden Metroids. They're not really Metroid, but I've never known the real name of those creatures, but there you go. You don't want to get hit by any bullet in this game.
The ancient sentries is what they are. There is Pizza Strat on the way down. It loses about a second and a half, but we're not going for a world record here anyways.
Swag.
I'll stick with.
So you can do that, and you just skip that whole room because we already have the map.
There we go.
And then you're about to see the next grapple exploit, which I'm going to be doing all over the place in this game.
Yep.
That allows you to go through most floors, depending on the height of the ceiling and how far you need to jump. I'm not entirely certain how it works, but I think VGR knows.
So the way it works is your grapple can get so long, right? And when you touch the floor while jumping, it pulls you to the position where you grappled, and it does it at the length of your grapple, however much it's extended at the time. So if it's extended just enough, you can put trace into the floor, and then the game just continues to send him downward until he exits somewhere. But if it's too thick of a floor, then it won't work. It'll just push him right back up. So there's a few variables to it, and I can't recall the exact numbers off the top of my head.
Would you like to go over what green hell is as I'm putting in the password?
It's
Green
rocky
hell.
with a lot of damage.
Yeah. It's one of those areas that when you first start playing this game, it's just like Temple, it's going to give you hell, just like its name implies. And eventually, as you get used to it, like you can see here, Willow has definitely come a long way since he first started. And he's just navigating through this as fast as possible, getting himself this pass-coded item, which you cannot get unless you have the passcode tool, and you have to usually figure out the password. But luckily, this is speedrun. We have all those passwords memorized. And now he's gonna go for another hidden item over here, but he's taking it a little bit safer.
Yeah, I always kill the golden guys there because they deal an unbelievable quantity of damage. And that is a health node. Usually I'm significantly lower on health, but that was a really, really solid green hell, so I didn't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, that was really good, actually.
Safety first.
Yeah.
By the way, with those passcodes, just to give you a sense of what it's like to work with Tom, like I was playtesting the game and I couldn't get anywhere close to 100% of the items, and I was asking him like, so how do I get this one thing? And he just wouldn't tell me. Gotta figure it out. Figure it out.
Right.
It's like, come on, I'm trying to test the game here.
I remember my first playthrough, one of the passwords you had to actually go and use the notes and
Willow, do not say.
encode them and decode them
Appreciate it,
just to
Falcon.
figure out what the password on the wall was. And you had to sit there and write it all down until you finally had all the passwords. And it was great. I'm always up for something like that, and it was just great to just sit there and figure it all out. Some people weren't so happy with that, and then they'll just go straight to Google now because it's been put up there for a while now. But I love just sitting there.
It's all in the notes.
bugs
It's all
like
in
that.
the game. You can find everything without any external sources. There's no ARG.
Yeah.
It's all within the confines of the game. And also, one thing I want to point out is that the red coat effect, because red coat basically allows you to phase dash through 3 tiles wide, and you also deal damage. So this is basically this game's screw attack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's linear. It's also on a horizontal plane. I think it's the fastest movement.
Mm-hmm.
Combined with the drone swap, and it's an absolute joy to work with. That's probably my favorite ability in the whole game. That and drone combined. It's one day I hope we get around to making like kind of like ROM hacks for this game, where we can make like custom maps and stuff like that.
We can. We're actually in the works of a few things for a boss rush kind of mode. But
real quick, this is the Scorpion boss that Dan was mentioning earlier, and
Yeah.
there he goes.
Everyone say hello, Gertab. Say goodbye to Gertab.
In 100%, he just melts.
Melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
red coat.
And we actually have more power nodes this time than we did in the old 100% route. Because previously it would take maybe a second and a half longer, but we increased our power so much at this point that we just cannot be stopped.
Right.
We've now reached the point in the game where there's only one enemy that can maybe kill me if I'm really, really bad at it.
Right.
That's Sentinel, I'm guessing.
That would be X2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you're going to see me take a whole lot of hits all over the place because I just don't care anymore. It's faster just to keep going.
Yeah, we're basically a phasing tank now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's always a fun shot. All right, so we have Redco. We've murdered the absolute love out of Gertab. So now we go into drone mini dungeon, which is exactly what we need to make us feel extra powerful. Is to go to our weakest possible attack set and our slowest.
I actually have a question for you, Dan. So when Tom came up with the passwords, was he like shopping at IKEA? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen some of these on labels IKEA or slightly modified versions of them.
Fun fact: the chair that I'm sitting in right now is actually an Iscardi Hanzu.
Exactly. And that's the one that made me think of that because I saw it in chat. I'm like, oh.
We remember to save here, otherwise we lose a minute and a half.
I was about to say it.
Yep.
I was getting nervous for half a second there.
So Falcon's been reminding me to like save here or do not save warp here. There's been exactly one run where I've forgotten either of those save warps, and one of them was the SGDQ 2020 submission video, which is
I
absolutely
promise him
fantastic.
every single run from here on out, I will not. I have to say it. It's our rule.
Yeah. So we appreciate him greatly. All right, there we go. So now we're going to do map cleanup on Kerr. As mentioned before, it's an enormous area, and we skipped a very significant amount of it by doing Void Warp. So now we have to go atone for our sins and collect all of this. So this is just going to be pure movement execution for the next hour or so.
And just to give you guys an idea of the movement that he's doing, there's about a 6-button combination that Will is doing every single time you see him throw the drone, come back to the drone, teleport, phase dash. So, I mean, doing this over and over and over is absolutely brutal on the hands.
Yeah, I wear like compression gloves to help with the joint pain. I really thought I picked that up, which helps a little bit. It's not that bad. Just don't get tense, and you'll be okay.
That's basically our version of the wall jump in comparison to Super Metroid runners, where we just spam, like, because you have to double tap in any given direction in order to phase dash, and then you have to pop the drone, hit the disruptor, then pop the drone again, and then phase dash and chain everything together in a way that it's actually precise and gets you where you want to go. It takes quite a bit of practice, but honestly, the movement in the second half of the game, as soon as you get all those elements, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to learn at first to do the optimal 100% late game movement, but once you get it down, it's a very pleasing rhythm, and it's hard to miss. So every single time you see me doing a drone teleport shot fire, it's fire drone, hatch drone egg, teleport to drone, fire glitch gun, and then do a double dash, and then do that again. So it's some fairly tight timing, but it's
also,
musically rather simple.
Sometimes you'll see him chain 2 phase dashes one after the other. So the way that works is that if you hold like a diagonal direction, you're basically buffering the first input for the dash. So let's say you're holding upright and you want to go up, then you only need to tap up once, and the first one is actually buffered by holding the diagonal. And in doing so, there's a possibility where you can chain a second one at the apex of the first one. I play 2 Max Apex Legends, but at the apex of the first one, and then you can, that's what we call rocket jump. So you get a second phase dash at the end of the first one. And,
Right, that's what I was doing during the Uku boss fight to get enough height to collect those map tiles that I'd otherwise have to go collect drone teleport in the next room and then come back and do it, which is slow, and we don't like that. In the Uku boss fight, they're frame perfect. Everywhere else, they're very, very lenient.
Also, getting power nodes here, because the power nodes also affect the drone's attack and the drill's power. So you drill through blocks a lot faster when you have those extra power nodes. So doing
I also
this
found out
really-
about an hour ago that power nodes affect drone's health pool as well.
Yes, that's correct.
They affect what?
The
The
drone's
drone's health
HP.
pool, that's not dependent
Yes,
on
yes.
health nodes, that's dependent upon power.
On power nodes, yeah. As the
no
drone is
idea.
considered a weapon, so. On a casual playthrough, that room, I was like,
Is the worst. Well,
Find
no,
it.
there is grapple room.
finding it.
Yeah, grapple room is the worst. And if Tom was here, we had the whole community has one question for him: who got on his bad side that day when he created grapple room? Because there's enemies left, right, and center, and like trying to optimize that room has been the bane of any percent now.
Fortunately, in 100%, we dropped down from the top, which is easy, but on the old 100% route, we went through it with significantly less health, and we did it from the bottom. which I still have war flashbacks to occasionally. It's a very, very difficult room. All right, and now I'm going to be quiet because this is going to be a solid minute and a half uninterrupted section. Those
Yeah,
fast
if anybody
turning.
likes that drone dashing we were talking about, you're going to get a large helping of it right here.
If anybody wants to explain why that is.
Well, basically, that's because those enemies that pop out of the floor, and you need to get 100% map tile completion, and that's probably the fastest way to go through that whole room. Which usually there's a big floating head that carries you across that whole corridor.
That only catches the top tiles, however, and we need the bottom.
Exactly.
And there she is right there. We'll see her again in a...
Yeah, there's apparently there's a whole story behind that floating head. Like, she has a name. I forget what it is. I think
Oraka.
Araka, yeah, and she was traumatized. So now she's mute, and I forget the rest of it. But yeah, I was just that was like one of my favorite surprises the first time I was playtesting the game. I found that and I was like, what the heck is that? And I just thought it was brilliant. But yeah,
I thought she was an enemy for the longest time and avoided her.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not ready to fight that.
Well, at first, when you first get into the room, you're like, you start shooting right away because that's your first reflex, and you're like, huh, interesting. It's not trying to kill me. It could probably eat my face off very quickly, but it's not trying to kill me, and that is a good thing.
Shoutouts to the only use of analog stick in this run. To do that diagonal dash there.
Oh.
Agree to disagree, sir.
What you just saw him do just now, basically, there's this green corruption. It's the same thing he did to get the Oku in Indy, I believe. The section. Eden. I always mix them up. So before he got to the Wasp boss, in order to get into that section, what he does is he takes damage and then hugs the corruption and then uses the phase dash to actually move through it. Which normally you would need the address bombs in order to be able to get rid of that corruption, which is essentially the level 3 Axiom disruptor. That's the strongest disruption weapon in the game that allows you to gain access to those areas that were covered up by that corruption that you couldn't get through with either of the first beams.
And that was the screen slowing effect that rippled out. Yep. That you saw me fire to get through the other one, because that was 4 blocks thick, and that is one too many for us. It's also like a 6 or 7 frame window that you can do after getting through the door where you have iframes, that you can get through that red corruption there, which I'm very happy that I got both times.
No, it was really nice, dude. Good job.
Thank you. This is Clone. I don't want to explain him. He's gross. We killed him. He's dead.
He can kill himself if you just would sit there. You don't even have to attack him. That's a fun fact.
That takes how many minutes? As he just slowly bleeds out?
It takes a while, but if anybody's going for achievements and trophies and stuff like that, that's
that's the actual only achievement I don't have in this game.
Sinner.
So this is that was the Axiom Verge employee break room, as I like to call it, and that's what happened when you forget your salmon in the microwave. That's nasty. Yep. I think that was one of the most disturbing pieces of the game for me. Not even that, like, you would think Uruku would be like, but there I was like, what? And then
that one's psychologically disturbing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very dark universe. Let's say that. HR Giger really comes through as one of the main artistic influences for Tom in the whole game. For those who don't know who HR Giger is, he's the creator of the Xenomorph, or as most people know them, the Alien, from from the Ridley Scott, James Cameron movies. We don't speak of the other ones.
There are other ones?
Covenant was good. I actually enjoyed Covenant, but
I actually didn't know that H.R. Geiger designed the Alien. I thought H.R. Geiger was like influenced for it.
No, he designed the Xenomorph.
Oh. Yeah, looking at Axiom Verge, there's definitely a whole lot of H.R. Geiger inspiration.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
someone
see-
said in chat. Disruptor bombs. Heavy Metal Loser said disruptor bombs are basically this game's power bombs, and you're absolutely right.
Exactly, yeah. Except they deal 0 damage. They're like a really fast version of the glitch gun on everything on screen and some off. There it goes again. And fun fact, if you pick up an item while the cutscene for the data bombs is playing, you lose about 40 seconds because it plays out the cutscene frame by frame by frame, as I have done repeatedly and will probably wind up doing on accident later this run.
I believe in you. You won't disappoint. I want to see it.
It's not as cool as it sounds, fair warning.
Whoops.
Yeah, that power up took me forever to get. Just the timing of being able to glitch through while, yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, and since then, someone found a way to do that, get that item with the grapple. So you would get up there with the drone and then use the grapple underneath, swing, and then dash up, and you're in the.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So as you
Every
can,
fiber of my being right now not to split.
Speaking of grapples, no, not
well,
yet.
here's the thing. If
No, not
anyone-
yet.
If anyone in
Okay.
chat wants to pick up this game and start running it, first, like I said, do the story mode. It's 100% worth it, and then dive into the speedrunning mode. But if you do want to pick it up after a couple of runs and everything, you're comfortable with the game. If you really do enjoy the movement mechanic, then 100% IMB is by far the category you'll want to run, because that's the one where you actually use all those mechanics the most.
Yeah, you get the full tour
Yeah.
of Sudra in this, and we do all of the movement. And if you're not even a fan of running 100% categories, the in-game movement and 100% for the next 30 minutes and the past 30 minutes is the in-game movement for every other category, so it'll make you better at those as well.
And if you're looking for a real challenge and you're a masochist like me,
Do
then
not
play low percent.
Please don't ever do that to yourself.
Low percent is bad for the soul.
We love you. We want you to just have that yourself.
I want you to be happy. Don't play low percent. Listen to Bluey Lewis. He knows of what he speaks.
Yeah, it's probably one of the more challenging things I've done in any game.
When a speedrun.com submission is a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
That's when I know it's real. Instead
Yep.
of I could have done better, it's I will never ever do this again.
Thank
and you
God it's
shouldn't
over.
either. There we go. That was another little grapple exploit there. That's called a grapple coat. We use that to get through vertical 3-block wide.
Oh, wow.
That's
Blocks,
also how you cheese the final boss.
Which we are not going to be doing here because that is slow and I have unlimited health.
That is true.
So with that, when you do a red coat dash with Trace, the dash starts from his feet, which Trace is 1 block wide and 2 blocks tall. So when you get his feet exactly parallel with the surface above you and then dash, you get to go 3 blocks through it. And I don't know if that's intentional or not. But it saves us a lot of heartache and having to go through a maze there. Guys, real quick, I didn't corrupt the slug in Indy, right?
You did not.
Got it.
By the way, you might notice in some areas like this one right now, you're seeing a little puddle of water, and if you stay in the water, you get an oxygen bar there, an oxygen gauge, and you can actually die from it. And I believe it was Tom's intention to have an underwater sequence in this game, and it just didn't happen. So that's basically just what's left from this. And if you've seen the trailer for Axiom Verge 2, I do believe they'll be actually back in spades in the sequel. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, having my own Axiom Verge Meridia right there.
As a note, I just collected the best weapon in the game. It is Flamethrower, it's horrifically broken, and it's going to be what we're going to be using for the entire rest of the run when we're not just coding into enemies to murder them.
By the way, I will accept some of the blame for why it's so hard to find. It used to be one of the weapons that you could find relatively easily in early playthrough, and I just told Tom it's way overpowered. Like, you get to the end boss and you can just destroy everything with the flamethrower. So then he basically made it the hardest thing to find, especially if you're playing by the rules and doing the casual playthrough. Like the note that tells you where to find that is all the way at the end of the game. So you have to go from the end of the game, backtrack all the way to the front of the game, just to.
It's the one that you
just
get
that.
when you're just before Disco Hell. You glitch through the wall to the left, and you have all.
Is that
all
note?
the way around? Yeah.
That's literally the room before the final boss.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have you to blame for the fact that we can't break this game wide open
Just say
within the
thanks,
first 30
Dan.
seconds.
Yeah.
I was blown away with how much time I spent collecting items in my casual playthrough and got to the end screen. It's like, you got 60% of items.
Yeah. Well, in addition, there are some weapons that only appear in a casual playthrough because you need to access the secret rooms.
I think there's Scissor Beam, Fat Beam, and Heat Seeker.
Heat Seeker,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which are very, very popular with the randomizer for some reason.
Man, Fat Beam is just fun. You know, like
It just looks awesome.
it's literally shoot the whoop the gun. Like it's really what it is. I'm a pharma laser, bah! But that's literally. I wish I could mod it so you could have like the mouth and the eyes every time you shoot.
We can do that. We have that power.
Do it.
Talk to Lemmy about that.
Lemmy!
Yeah, Lemmy's made
Where is
some.
he? It's only like, what, 2 a.m. for him?
Right.
Yeah. Where is he?
Germany.
Probably sleeping.
Oh,
Sleeping.
greetings from
It's about 3 a.m.
So Lemmy could have come on this stream and say greetings from Germany and actually be from Germany. That sounds like a wasted opportunity for me.
Right?
Right.
By the way, this room we got a lot of support calls about because it's pretty early in the game and people see it's all glitched out and they're like, "There's something wrong with the game." It's like, no, wait, just play a little bit more. You'll see it makes sense. Makes sense later.
That just means that Tom actually nailed the whole glitching visual.
Oh yeah, totally.
I was a little concerned at first when things started happening when I picked up Light Coat. And then I just grew to realize that's what's supposed to be happening, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's good to like have something intentionally broken because I work as like a software developer by day. So if you see something that buggy, you're like, oh, this is the worst day of my life. But here's
Also-
a good thing.
By the way, Dan, is Tom the kind of person who just randomly pops bubble wrap in the office?
I don't know. We don't work in the same place. Yeah. So
Because to me, those red bubbles is essentially virtual
Yeah.
bubble wrap.
Yep.
Oh,
I
man,
agree.
it's so addicting.
it's so
We
good.
actually have a
There's a
we have a
metric
tracker
in game.
widget.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, basically that's what I was getting to. There's a metric in game. It's tracking a stat of how many bubbles you've popped because there's actually an achievement for that on Steam, where when you pop 2,000 bubbles, you get an achievement. But it's tracking the amount of red bubbles you're popping throughout the game, and in the randomizer, you actually see that stat in real time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a couple widgets that VGR and I developed. You developed the memory scanner part, and I developed the OBS widget for it. That will show you that, and it will track in real time how many bubbles you've popped. And I think that we should make that a completion requirement for randomizer, but they disagree.
David TKI who says, "I don't want to burst your bubble."
Oh, I see what he did there.
Oh, Space Rider 19 is from Germany.
Hey, can you say greetings from Germany for us? I haven't been greeted from Germany yet.
Greetings from Sudra.
Greetings from Sudra. Funky theremin noises ensue.
Well, there's a lot of funky sounds in this game.
And they're all pure gold. Oops.
It's not just the music, the overall sound design is just, it's kind of mind-blowing when you see that everything is so well done. When you just look at each and every individual piece that makes the game, we've been saying it over and over again, but it truly is the work of one single person.
Yeah, it blew me away. I was playing the game, I was like, wow, the development team that made this must be incredibly talented, and I look it up and it's one guy.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the same thing.
I'm pretty sure I Want to Be the Guy had more than one person working on it, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
No,
I
it's so-
respect
it's-
speedrunners of that game intensely.
Yeah, think
I
Yeah, it
got
was good.
2
I
rooms
got-
into a casual playthrough and they gave up.
I think it's been fixed. I think everybody can hear me now.
I beat the game once. Once.
You are a braver man than I.
You know, it
Which
takes a
game?
certain-
I missed that.
I
Yeah.
want to be the guy. It's like
Oh,
the
that
original
one.
precision platformer troll game. Yeah.
I never beat that one, but I beat Boshi.
Isn't
I think
Boshi a
Boshi's
Kaizo
worse.
mod of it?
Yes, it is.
You couldn't beat the original, but
Hello?
you beat the Kaizo mod?
No, I just haven't beaten it. I'm working on it.
In progress.
Yeah,
By the way, you
I
have
didn't.
to-
I learned about Boshi before I learned about the original, so that's my bad. What can I say? I'm a masochist. Come on.
yeah.
I think we all are
Hold
running this
1%
game.
world record.
By the way, we got a question by Turn MC in chat who says, "Was it intended that a lot of secrets in this game would be nearly impossible to find on a casual playthrough?" Well, let's say it was intended that on your first playthrough, if you didn't go for 100% specifically on purpose, you wouldn't find everything. Just it wouldn't be on the way. You really have to go off the beaten path and just kind of explore the whole world in order to find everything. And it's
And you also got to consider a little bit that in IMB we're going through things in a bit of a weird order. There are definitely hints that are not animating because we're getting through them too fast, and we're going through things usually backwards, especially through this area. So they're not as hard to find as you would think. There's a couple that are definitely like Super Metroid blocks that are completely indistinguishable from regular ones.
and this game has no X-ray scope.
Not only that,
Super Metroid
but
has X-ray scope.
Yeah.
yeah,
But,
Oh
I
my
mean,
god, that
no
would have
one-
made that way easier.
I mean, X-ray scope is the spore spawn of items in Super Metroid. If you don't get
Yeah.
it, just run Super Metroid. Those who know know.
and another thing to touch on is in the speed run, all the RNG is taken out, and what I mean by that is in the story mode, there's actually secret worlds hidden all across the world, and each time you play, there'll be actually different secret worlds
Well,
unlocked.
the first 3 times they're in sequence, and then they're randomized.
Okay. But either way, right, it's still something that, each time you play is somewhere different, something new, and you never know where it's actually going to be. Like looking into the tile sets that for each map, there's like over 100 locations, and only 5 spawn out of those 100 locations each run. So
Yeah.
imagine the amount of runs you have to go through to actually unlock every single one of those.
Yeah, that's part of why I'm very, very glad they don't spawn in 100% because that means that it's now a hour and a half base followed by a long series of RNG.
It was very
Right.
much luck-based story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 100% nowadays is just pure execution. There's only one instance of RNG, and that is in Coral Room.
Oh,
Because the squiggles that the coral fires out is technically dependent upon your movement, but it's still slightly randomized, and unless you're tasked, your movement's going to be a little bit different every time.
pretty sure they're called tube
Se-
worms.
Yeah.
Actually.
Sentinels
Yeah, two worms.
as well will be RNG.
Yes, because they're actually based on the same projectile, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah, they're the same exact sprite.
So it's the pattern of the actual, like the squigglies, as he called them. They're completely random, and there's sometimes you'll get through that room, you'll get your damage boost and everything. It'll be beautiful, and then just one random bullet will just be like, nope, and then just poops your
Actually, a
whole
couple
party.
nights ago, got the worst RNG I've ever seen in that room. If I got hit 5 times and it killed me, and I've never seen anything that bad. I don't think I even got hit more than once during this one.
Oh, hi. Well, we
Hello.
hear you.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh.
Chat, can y'all say hi to Railkun, who's just joined us just now? Can everyone hear him?
I can hear him.
I can hear him. He's a little faint, but... Ooh, I got the swag down. Okay, no worries. I will do that when I come to a cutscene.
Yeah, there's scan lines, and you'll hear static crackling, and there's a bunch of crazy stuff happening when you're close to one of those secret entrances.
Yeah, and then Elsa Nova will give you a little intro to it the first time you see one in casual play. Okay, we're utilizing another save piece.
I think people heard you.
Yeah, it should
Apparently
be
people are not
audible
hearing you
now.
on the stream, or maybe it's just because your mic is so quiet.
Better people are trolling because
I think
some
the
say
second
they
time
are.
I was not unmuted because I'm still getting used to this setup, but they should be able to hear me now.
Yeah, okay. I just turned up the stream volume on my computer, and I can actually hear you. It's a little bit faint, but it's perfect. It's good enough. Space Rider says good night from Germany. Well, good night.
All right, good night too, Germany. Thank you for stopping by.
I believe it's like 3:30 a.m. over there.
Yeah, I appreciate how late you stayed up for this. It means the world to me.
No, Trex, this isn't Metroid.
Isn't it though?
It's not? I'm in the wrong room.
I only run Super Metroid. What's this?
Exactly. Okay, and we will be saving the animals.
Is there a
think we
save
already
kill
did that.
thing that we can do?
There is technically. although,
Yeah, there is
like,
in every category but IMB.
Yeah, because in IMB you do it by default, but we're thinking
Yeah.
about the same thing, right?
IMB we kill by default.
Yep.
X2.
Yeah.
It would really be-
no, no. Well,
would be-
X2 is
X2's part of it. Could be part of it too.
Yeah, it could be
You
part
can
of
also
it,
do
but
something.
I was talking about releasing the drones in Kerr.
Oh,
right?
releasing the repair
Oh,
drones? I
yeah.
think you actually have to, don't you? Otherwise
No.
you can't get the vision cutscene.
No, in vanilla, yes, but there's ways around it because of Void Warp, right? So,
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Did you guys do ESA 100% run? Did someone run Axiom at ESA?
Not to my knowledge.
I didn't even know someone ran it at ESA. I'm gonna have to look that up and see who it was. Give me a second. Let me find out.
And the real question, did they run the one true 100% or did they run 100% items?
I was wondering when you were going to sneak that in.
I mean, it took him like all of 30
took him a day.
seconds to sneak in his Linux setup, so
Ouch, ouch.
That's great. I'm proud of you for holding
Yeah,
out
man,
for
it took
over an hour.
30
That
minutes
was
for that.
awesome.
by the way, to people watching the stream right now, as you would notice in this area, there's the Google Chrome logo hidden in plain sight. I'll let you find it.
Wait, what?
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
You can't, yeah.
On your way back, you'll see it.
See what?
Oh, I hate it.
There it is.
It's right there.
Yep, it's the fans and the vents. How could you?
You've
That's
now
gonna
ruined the
bug me
game for him forever.
Look, as a devout Firefox user,
I mean, you could technically mod the game to change that sprite, that animated sprite, so it's the Firefox logo, and that would make my day.
I feel like that would invalidate my runs. This is a Google supporting game, thank you.
Oh, ESA Environmental Station Alpha. Oh, okay. No,
European Speedrun Alliance.
No,
say,
that's not the game.
acronyms.
It's a short Metroidvania. I haven't played it. I hear it's great. It's on my list. It's on my pile of shame of Steam libraries.
Okay, I think we killed the jet engine. Hello?
We killed the what? The jet engine?
Howdy.
Yeah, all
Oh.
the background noise of the hum of PCs that was going on.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Now you're coming in loud and clear.
Oh no, it's is it Zeo Drifter? There's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, Zeo
that's-
Drifter is short.
Yeah.
I think you might be thinking Zeo Drifter. Yeah, I've heard really good things about ESA. I own it also. Tom was a really big fan of it. I'm sure he still is. When he was developing Axiom Verge, they came out around the same time, and he told me like when he first saw ESA, he was like, "Oh man, that thing is amazing. That's way better than the game I'm working on." And so he was really impressed with it, and that's what made me buy it. And then I still never played it. so I should play it.
Well, you have homework.
If
Yeah.
Tom thinks it's better than Axiom Verge, this has got to be a fantastic game, because as much as I despise Grapple Room, I still dedicate hundreds of hours of my life to this.
Right.
Also, I got confused, but it was Zeo Drifter that I was thinking of. It's a very short Metroidvania.
Yeah, that one is short. That was like 2 hours, I want to say. I did play that one.
We're actually making rather good time here. I'll have
Yeah,
to
it's
switch
great.
runner, so I'm not
Doing
sure where
great.
I'm at, but yeah, this is
We're talking a bunch of nonsense. So we're just taking the edge off, I guess.
I don't know. I have a picture of Falcon's dog on my left monitor right here, and that's what's really helping a lot.
Good Dogo.
That's the only reason he brought me on the commentary. I bribed him.
You know that you run IMB, and there are very few of us. IMB was kind of a dead category until myself and Alchemist came in, and we thought that looks like the easiest to run because there was a PDF guide. And then it just turns out I really like it a lot more than anything, so that's where we're going now. And I've recently bribed Falcon to play it as well.
Well, I had to keep my promise. Once I told you I got my time in NMG, I had to join the dark side with you.
Exactly.
Oh, someone pointed out you missed a save room square. Did you miss it?
Ooh.
You'll get it shortly.
Yeah. That one's routed on purpose.
Okay.
If you ever see me save and not collect the top half of the save room, that's because we're going to warp there.
Okay.
But good catch. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's like, man, wouldn't that suck to be at the very last bit of it and realize you missed one
That's the
tile?
dread of every 100% runners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all hold our breath for about 8 seconds at the end.
That is
Yeah,
I
a
lost a
fine.
record of that about 3
Right.
days ago.
That is a
Big
fine
shout-outs to-
GDQ tradition of getting most percent at a marathon.
Yep. Well, I mean, at No Reset DreamHack 2017, Ashder, who was going by the moniker Elminster back in the day, did a 100% Super Metroid run. And at the end, when we waited for the validation screen, it actually went at 97.9%. So what we did is we actually changed the category in Horaro on the fly, so that it would reflect it on the stream. And that was just ever since, it would just be, we put that as it was kind of a running gag at that point, but it was 97.9%. That's the true hundo for Super Metroid at No Reset.
That's awesome.
Every game has a true hundo category, and whether or not it's named 100% is up to you.
Mhm.
There you go.
All right, this is the last time we're going to be seeing Araka, so everybody say goodbye to Araka. She's been our best friend. She goes very fast, and we love her for that.
I mean, Araka would have a good head on her shoulders if she had shoulders.
Right.
That was
It's kind of funny because, part of the design makes it look like a snail, but it's probably the
Yeah.
fastest creature in the game.
call it right in the brain train.
Now we're doing a bit of cleanup in Ukena. Or
Yeah,
zone,
Ukena.
probably zone 4, as Tom knows it.
Has my second least favorite room in the game, which is this one, because there's no good way to navigate this. And also the bees.
Not the bees.
So many bees.
Oh
Not
yeah.
the
Guys.
bees.
They're in my drone.
Yeah, that room is
These
those
enemies-
creatures.
Go ahead.
I just hate them.
That was actually
Yeah.
one of the better ones of that room, though. They
Yeah,
cooperate
that's one of
pretty
my
well
better
there.
times
Oh,
entering and exiting
yeah.
that
by the
room.
way, can you corrupt one of these guys? Just
Oh yeah, dude.
I corrupted several of them earlier, but I can now.
pay attention to the sprite that'll appear when you corrupt when he corrupts one of these guys, or all of them. And yes, this is missing now from the Pokemon series.
If I knew which weapon was in my number 6 slot, it would be enormous right now.
Yep.
But I have honestly no idea.
So yeah, and that's also another. Dan used to tell me for the longest time, oh yeah, in that room when you glitch, the missing no sprite. There's also another secret tied to it, and I've looked for it far and wide, and I couldn't find it. And I actually learned about it maybe 2 months ago, or was it when we did the stream in December?
I'm not sure yet, but Tom wouldn't. That was another thing that Tom wouldn't tell me. He was like, "No, you gotta figure it out." And it's like, "Come on."
And when I knew about the sixth item, the sixth weapon in your game would become ginormous. It was a no-brainer. Like, how did I not think about that? The sixth slot, because the glitch with missing no, and it's
Right.
only natural that the glitch Pokemon would be an Easter egg in this game.
Right.
Tom has to bring it
Attention
back
to
for
the
Axiom
giant
2.
robot snake.
And someone in our community actually knew about it. Angie wrote about it in her fan fiction. And I thought that was interesting that she actually knew about it and found a way to make it canon in the universe.
If I recall, she also found a way to work in all the grapple shenanigans that we do in any percent YMG.
Right.
I just forgot. Did I save at that save room like I was supposed to?
Good question.
Gonna find out.
Just use the backup save if you have to.
Yeah, I'll just go do the backup save. It only loses like 10 seconds.
Say 15 seconds at best, maybe.
Yeah.
I do have a couple people saying yes, you did, but
I did save there? Alright, then we're good. I will trust chat. That's never gone wrong before.
I was gonna say that's worked out for everybody.
Yep.
In the history of everything.
Look, we got a good night from Germany, so this run is official.
All right, I'll tell you this, Willow. Trace said you did, so we know exactly who to blame if it goes wrong.
Okay.
And someone from the chat, System 3 Error, also says
Yeah,
that you did.
that's Trace.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, system error. You did, no worries. That's reassuring.
Granted, he's also frequently been wrong about this. Slightly more so than I have.
Oh, okay, then.
I'm not sure if
I'll,
I should trust
But at
him.
least now you have a face to blame if it all goes.
no, I'll cater to your Linux sensibilities then. If Colonel Panic, if Colonel Panic told you got this, you saved, would you, how would you feel?
Ouch. I would immediately believe him. Plus, we'd still come in like 17 minutes underestimate if we forgot it. So it's
And fortunately enough, you did save, so thank you, chat.
Thank you very much. Love you guys as always.
Now we're going to the final area of the game, our Uru.
There goes Okinawa. And this is Maru, like G-Virus said. This is a very metallic, very tight cramped quarters, so all of that fun platforming and movement that we had, that's going to go away here for the most part, unless we nail some very, very precise stuff. And also there's these laser drones here that are very much not a fan of, I think. And there's going to be quite a few.
And they're going to be a big problem in randomizer, depending on the items we get.
You got a fight coming up too, Willow, so change your weapon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I don't think you want to go into Sentinel with that one.
Normally I can just, I have that bound to left trigger, so I can just pop it as soon as I get in the door.
You're fine when you have Falcon's Freak in your corner for this one.
Yeah, honestly, I need Falcon here for all of my runs. He's way more attentive to them than I am.
I just know the pain of coming that close and ruining it in the end.
Yeah, in an hour-half category.
yeah. What I do when I
Sentinel?
play this is I usually kill something right in the outside of this room, right to the right, and just leave all their health there, and then it's basically like you can get some
Like a
bonus health.
all-you-can-eat buffet there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did in my casual playthrough. I had so much
that's-
trouble with Sentinel.
That's something I had to do in low percent just in case I messed
Yeah.
up on skip.
Well, Sentinel is probably one of my favorite boss designs, actually. I really like it.
Now, this is something new that was found by Bluey.
Come on.
Come on, you got this.
There we go. That is the most precise grapple zip in this entire room. It's like a pixel of leeway.
Very well
Right.
done.
Wallach is asking, are you sparing the optional boss, or are you going to kill that?
We have to kill
Unfortunately,
it.
because
We
this
have to
is
kill it.
100% items, maps, and bosses, we have to kill him, but I promise I'll make it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Will it be painless? No promises.
Certainly not. It's a flamethrower.
No.
It's gonna
Yeah,
melt the pile of slag.
that's the point I was getting to. It is a flamethrower.
Much like everything else in this run, pile of slag.
Yeah, definitely gonna want to save before this boss, just in case, especially if you're gonna try and do it fast.
I should be okay. We'll be
Okay.
fine here. This is more
Speed
helpful
run.
than going into it.
Yeah, I forgot. There's the new strats for it compared to.
It's your strap.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I don't run this anymore. Like, I keep forgetting.
There's a quick kill. It's pretty free. I can take a lot of hits. This is the only enemy that's currently capable of killing me. And looks like we got the good quick kill cycle, so I'm really, really not concerned.
I remember the first time I played this game, I didn't know this was an optional boss. I spent
Oh, me
probably
neither.
hours just dying, and then noticed the door and just
well, I noticed.
wanted to cry, honestly.
Honestly, I noticed the door. I went through it. I was on my way up to the final boss, and I got to the save point. I'm like, I can't finish the game without killing the boss. You know, like I can't. So I went back, got rid of it, then went back to Athetos and finished the game.
Also, shoutouts to Tom there. Every time I do that grapple zip down there, I know I'm not supposed to, but that sentry always teleports and hits me, and I want an explanation.
It's a countermeasure that was hard coded by Tom.
All right, we are on our way up our absolute final last gauntlet. This is what we're going to call Disco Heck, to keep it PG-13, as opposed to Green Heck. So there's all of these little party orbs in here.
Which I call
And-
Disco Hell. This is the canonical name of this room. It's
I like to
Disco Hell.
call it laser disco.
VGR has a strat for getting through here with absolutely zero damage. As far as I'm convinced, it's wizardry.
I also have a strat to get up here with no drone teleport, which
I almost hope we get to see that in the randomizer.
you will.
Ooh, took a
You
lot
will.
more hits than I thought.
It's
I'm
so
gonna
fun.
take the safe
Just,
point here.
just to
Oh,
give
boy.
Code a chance, I'm gonna be doing that, and he's gonna be using drone
Ooh,
teleport.
Shots
so.
fired, Code. Shots fired.
Isn't it like 9 frame perfect rocket jumps to do it without drone teleport, though?
Which one?
To get through Maru without any
through-
kind of drone teleport?
Yeah,
It's insane.
G-Virus witnessed it at LAN ETS this year. I did
Yep.
it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, go mode for you is red coat and basically nothing else, isn't it?
Red coat, high jump, and grapple. Once I have those 3 items, I'm pretty much good to go. And if I can find flamethrower or fat beam, that solidifies the win. Yeah.
So basically, any fans in chat, you're hoping all 4 of those items are buried as deep as is humanly possible.
You've seen all of the item locations in here, so make sure you scream at them because they will forget something.
So in the early versions of the game, there was you could duck in the corner of the room and just use a diagonal to lock onto the damage area and just cheese the boss that way.
Just did another grapple coat to get out of bounds there because it was the 3rd cycle on this guy.
GG,
And
man.
that is Athetos. So when the
Great
screen
job.
fades to
Jump
black here,
down,
that
jump
is
down,
time.
jump down.
Nice.
Jump off the edge.
Jump
I
off
lost
the
control
edge.
a while ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Our final
And- Okay, we're back.
So why don't you give everybody the rundown of what just happened?
Okay, so the stream died right on the confirmation screen. That was not world record. My apologies, I spoke too soon. It was about like 30 seconds off from that. The final time was, we measured using IGT. It was 1 hour, 28 minutes, 0 seconds, and 19 frames, which is a PB for me by about 24 seconds. So that is amazing. I'm so glad that we got that.
I lied. It gave me a confirmation dialogue, so now we're live.
I was gonna say.
I
was gonna say-
Personal, everybody.
All right. I'll go through the keynotes one more time, real quick. That was okay. Run to finished. We got 100% map, 100% items. Nobody's going to believe me on that.
We have a
Good.
screenshot on our end because
We
we're
have-
using a different platform to monitor the run in real time.
Yeah, so we have a screenshot of that. That happened. You can see on my screen here, it says last time, 1 hour, 28 minutes, 0 seconds, 19 frames. It's not milliseconds for some reason. That is a PB for me by about 22 seconds. It is not world record. I spoke too soon. Nobody get your hopes up, but it's still cool. And that went really well right before stream died there. I'm glad that didn't happen in the middle of the run.
That was a great run. I mean, tech issues happen. It's all good, but I mean, we got Railkun who just got us back on track real quick. So, by the way, thank you. I just want to take the time to, so I don't forget at the end of everything, to just give a huge thanks to Railkun who reached out to us to have us on the hotfix today and feature our community with such an amazing game and even more amazing people behind it and playing it, running it. Just thank you for giving us this opportunity to shine the spotlight, as it were, onto our little corner of speedrunning.
Yeah, that is the point of the show, and I want to say thanks to all of you for doing a great job on commentary while I was fixing everything. Kept the whole thing going very well.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us on. It was an absolute honor. So I'm going to jump off here so you guys can get ready for randomizer.
Yeah, we're going to
I'll
take.
be back for any percent.
We'll take
And I do believe me and Dan are going to have some pretty cool things to say about the randomizer and its future.
Ooh, really?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing official, but we can give a little bit of a preview of what's in the works right now.
Okay.
Well, what we'd like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna take us to a quick break so we can get ready for the randomizer, play a few ads, and we'll be back with that in just a few.
Awesome. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We finished off with our 100% IMB run, and we're going into a randomizer race between Video Game Roulette and Codepiece. But since we didn't quite get to do the announcements at the start, just would like to remind everyone, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Random Number Generation, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a show about randomizers and randomizer community, so there's a little bit of a tie-in there. I don't know off the top of my head what game they're doing, so you just have to tune in and find out. And of course, we want to thank everybody who's tuned in and stuck with us through all the technical difficulties we've had flipping our studio over from live marathon mode back to hotfix. And once again, we appreciate all of you who tune in. And hotfix is funded in part thanks to subscriptions and bits, so we would appreciate it if you would consider. I see that Code Pieces is not correct. Yes, we'll fix that. But while I do that, why don't we introduce ourselves? Runners, hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm Codepiece.
And I'm Video Game Roulette.
And we'll be doing the randomizer.
Yeah.
We're going to do a race style, so it'll be practically blind.
Yeah, so for those of you in chat, we did run this seed once just to make sure that we could stay in estimate, but since then we've kind of run other seeds to try and block out what we saw. This way it feels like a blind run once again, but we know we can stay within estimate, and we know it's going to be an interesting seed for you guys to watch, so we hope you guys enjoy. And we put a lot of time and effort into this randomizer. Me, Leamy, and Possum all together have been working really hard on the randomizer and all the tools, along with Willow, who was our last runner. A lot of the new tools are thanks to his help, so big shout outs to him. And
yeah, and I've done a lot of running the randomizer, so
yeah,
well, I've got that down.
Yeah, so this will be a fun race.
All right, I'm ready when you are, dude.
Same here.
Just
are
so
you
gonna
guys
do a
ready?
final check for the memory scanners.
Yeah, final check. Here, let's do a quick check here. Start and grab the first item just to make sure that our scanners are working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It only takes 20 seconds, so. And as you can see, Trace is rocking a nice blue coat. A little shout out to Axiom Verge too, since Trace will never get to wear that blue coat. We're gonna give it to him here. All right, so let's see. Mine's working. Waiting on Code Piece.
All right, confirm for VGR.
Yep, works for
And
Code Piece
confirm
too.
for code. Yep. All right. We're good
Awesome.
to
Sweet.
All right,
All
ready
right.
with the timer when you both are ready.
go. All right.
Let's get it rocking.
G-Virus, you want to count us down?
Oh no. Go ahead, G-Virus.
All right, for sure. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Hello.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, it's going.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of a delay since they're streaming to the
gotcha.
RTMP
Yeah.
server. It means that they might not be perfectly synced, but if you look in the top left, Axiom
Well,
Verge has that handy
I think
timer.
that's the blue code advantage. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's going on right now.
Yeah. Something to do with the pixels and Photoshop and.
So we're starting off with Firewall. Not our favorite weapon to start with, but interesting.
Yeah, and first off, hi, I'm Jethro Tereshak. I also I helped do some of the logic for this randomizer. VGR and I spent quite a while working on the logic progression. So we're going to be going through this game, looking for a number of items. I've been told that VGR is going to be looking for a low percent route through this, while we're going to be seeing Code Piece going for standard item collection. It's going to be really interesting to see some of the weapons that these guys pick up, though. You're not going to see use of many of these weapons through a normal run.
That's correct. And some of them are better than others.
Some of them are not great.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm just taking it safe with my health numbers here.
So is there some reason why you don't use the save rooms to kind of teleport back?
In randomizer, there's certain logic which tells us we can go here if we have this or here if we have that. So it's quicker not to do the save warp sometimes.
Yeah, I'm taking a gamble here, not checking the upper left corner, going straight for Zader.
But I'm also taking a gamble that if Drill's not here, he's gonna take the lead. And also I could die very easily right here, which is why I'm trying to be very careful coming through here. I'm gonna actually just skip through here and hope for the best. All right, looks like Code took the better route. And this is why I said, like, we may have run this once, but we're still gonna run it in the way that we're used to run these.
So what's your general approach to randomizer? What are your priorities?
Basically, the way I look at it, since I helped program the logic for this mode, I go in a very vanilla progression kind of approach where I'm searching every area as soon as I can with the items that I have available to me.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't want to really take a risk being like, you want to just move quickly past an item. It could be a super important progressional item.
Exactly.
And you could just run past it and just not thinking of where you can travel and view with what items you actually have at the moment.
So in a lot of ways, it's kind of like everyone's first casual run of the game where you're like, I don't know what any of this stuff does. I'm going to explore every nook and cranny to see what I can find.
That's one way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main appeals of the randomizers and why they've been so popular lately is the fact that you get to revisit these games over and over again for the first time.
Yep.
Yep.
similar to
So I'd be
speedrunning in a
remiss-
way, where a lot of people, when they speedrun a game, it gives them a new reason to keep playing a game.
Yeah, because you find a whole new way to play that game, and it feels fresh and it feels brand new, even though it's something that you know and love. It's completely different.
Totally.
And one
So
of
we're
the
getting some
interesting
huge.
things.
I was gonna say we're getting some huge progressional items right at the start.
Yeah, high jump immediately. It's going to affect your platforming. You're going to be able to get
Yeah.
to a lot of places you wouldn't be able to early game.
So I guess there's logic in here that anything that you would need to access an area can't be behind the barrier
yeah.
to that area, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
There
when I
will
say
never-
logic, the logic basically goes, what do you need to get into the spot, right? And then checks if it's available, because it knows the exact order it puts things down and where it places it, and then it uses those to check and see if you can actually complete the seed. And if it's not completable, it'll go back and re-randomize some of the seed until it becomes completable, essentially.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chasm is another game I worked on, and that is always random.
Mhm.
So the world map is generated randomly right at the outset, but there's logic in there that the overall structure of the game, the bones of the game are the same. So like you always go from one area to the next area in a certain order, but the path that you take to get there will be different each time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting things about this randomizer is that the items are placed backwards.
Yes. So red coat is the first item that is placed, and then from there it dictates from the logic that we place where everything can go to try and get you there. Essentially.
And that makes it very interesting how this game works. It becomes a very personality based kind of run. And I find that very different and interesting compared to a lot of other randomizers.
Yeah.
So like for me, I have a good sense of logic and progression, and I have a tendency to make good decisions. Whereas Code is so on point with his execution so often, and then VGR just says, I have the absolute bare minimum I need. I'm just going to go straight to Maruru and then bash my face against that wall. And we all end up pretty much at the same point, more or less in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And it becomes this very interesting game of what personality do you want to play the game as?
Also depends on your skill level. I mean, there are some of us who are mere mortals who just literally couldn't beat some of those final bosses without certain power-ups and...
Well, then again, I mean, certain
and
seeds will make you so overpowered from the get-go.
Yeah,
You'll get
some
a lot
of
of
them.
very powerful items very quickly.
Yeah.
But I'm
Like
definitely among those mere mortals who cannot do the final bosses without certain items. So,
Yeah.
like it doesn't always mean that just because you aren't solid on mechanics, you can't be competitive in this.
Exactly.
And
Because,
that's just something weird and unique about this one.
Well, the thing is, yes, skills is a huge factor, but also strategy and where you're going to go, how you're going to do those checks. And sometimes you really need red code to be able to finish the game. And someone can get everything right, get all the power-ups, but be missing that one red code item, and they don't get go mode until they do.
So we briefly showed the stat screen there for a moment. It said it was a stat there that says enemies glitched. What does that mean?
Okay, so I think Code Piece can probably show that off, but basically we have this address disruptor, which I'm shooting right now, and using that you can corrupt enemies, which is glitching them into another form. And throughout the game, there's an achievement where you have to glitch every single enemy at least once. So we actually put that in the tracker for people trying to get that achievement.
So that's more about different types of enemies glitched than total numbers of enemy glitched?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's also bubbles popped, and that's very important too.
That's the most
Yeah.
important. I was talking about it earlier during the IMB run, and how there's an achievement tied to it in the game, and also, I mean, it's virtual bubble wrap. There's nothing that's more satisfying than just popping bubble wrap. And with the fat beam here, you can actually do that in spades, and just destroy all the red bubbles in the game very easily. Which is why it's
Right.
probably why it's my favorite weapon in the whole game.
All right.
Someone in chat's asking what this weapon that you're using. Said they haven't seen it before.
Fat
This
beam?
is Fat Beam. This is
Yeah,
this is one of the secret weapons. You will only find it 1 out of 3 playthroughs because it is a hard mode. Sorry, let me rephrase that because hard mode is an actual mode of the game. It is a hard location secret world weapon. There are 3 of them, but those 3 rotate through your save files on casual.
I picked up red coat, went like 2 rooms, and I forgot I had it.
So even if you like 100%
One
the
of
game
the
casually,
fun things about randomizer in this game is that you end up with weapons and items in places that you shouldn't have them, and you just forget about them for a while.
so basically you're saying that even if you like casually 100% the game, you might not see that weapon.
Yeah, there
They
is
don't count.
there is
They
a 66% chance that casually 100%ing the game on normal story mode, you will not see Fat Beam.
That's crazy.
And I mean, because secret weapons do not count towards item completion at all. So
And that's
it's-
also true. But the secret world the secret worlds themselves spawn 1 of 3 weapons, and it rotates per save file. So,
which
I
are
just picked up drone teleport. That's my go-to item for in-game.
Yeah.
there you go.
so all you need now is drone, yeah?
Pretty much.
Just found address disruptor 2.
Oh man,
Oh, that's right.
no. There we go.
Code, yes.
We totally were supposed to do that at the start of the run. I forgot we discussed that before Code got here. We were supposed to do Konami Code, and we totally forgot.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for.
All right. At least one of us did it.
So, for those of you who caught the Hundo run, this game has a lot of references to old games. First off is Konami Code does actually work in this game, and it gives you the passcode tool. Additionally, passcode tool works and lets you put in Justin Bailey, a code from the original Metroid that allowed Samus to take off her armor and display herself as female. In this game, it just puts you in her leotard.
Yeah.
Actually, Justin Bailey does more than that. It gives you the wave beam, and you spawn in crate, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh, yes, that's all. And like a lot of missiles.
Yeah,
It's been a
missiles.
very long time since I last played the original Metroid.
Fun fact: it's the first thing I tried as soon as I got the passcode tool for this game because I saw the password format and instantly just went for it. So
Yeah,
my
no,
first playthrough, I was wearing the alternate costume.
I did the exact same thing.
I remember like laughing so hard. I was live streaming it. It's those little things, those little details.
This game is just so full of character. And in the speed run, you don't really get to see a lot of it because we're trying to go fast. But this randomizer allows you to see a lot of those things, those little tiny details. And for me, I know that anytime I end up with a passcode tool in a rando seed, I end up with Justin Bailey on it's the first code.
Yeah.
All right, coming through Yellow Room now. Anyone want to explain why it's Yellow Room?
Because you go fast or you die.
It's basically go too fast, you die. Go fast, you die. Don't go fast enough, you die. There's a very thin margin that you can work within for this room, and it's very unforgiving.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
And in normal speed runs, you try to set up your health for certain parts of YOLO Room to get free health refills off of the spider ants. And because you're damage boosting through the entire room, sometimes that can go very south very fast.
By the way, did you just get advanced drone launch?
Yeah. So I'm still missing drone. So I have drone launch and drone teleport, but drone teleport was more en route.
I actually never ended up seeing that while I was vetting this. Never even went to that room.
Oh, shame.
By the way, Dan, how you doing over there?
I'm doing good. I'm just watching. I'm enjoying seeing how this plays out. This is my first time seeing the mode, so I was actually imagining before, when you were telling me about it, that the rooms would be out of order, and I was like, that's gonna be really
actually
hard.
Something new that we're working on.
Are you really?
Yes. Yes.
BGR, you hadn't told me that.
Yeah, and
He told me a while ago, but it's been apparently there's been a development on it. But yeah, earlier when we were talking, Dan, basically in this order right now, it's item randomizer. So it randomizes all the items in the game. That's where we're at right now.
Right.
Enemy randomizer / boss randomizer, I think, is in the works, or it's on the roadmap.
Enemy randomizer works, but it's not logic based.
I do not recommend running enemy randomizer on this quite yet. It has had a tendency to spawn like Zeters out of the corals, and I don't need to tell you how not great that is.
I really now.
yeah,
I'm
and
not gonna lie, I really
talking
want to see that.
in terms of randomizers, like going the next step to exit randomizer, which is what you're talking about, requires just a huge level of logic to be added in.
Yeah.
It's a huge project.
It is. But we're most of the way there already, so. We're also working on crowd control stuff as well.
Which I hadn't even heard of crowd control until you came in, VGR. Having now seen it in full effect, and especially with Andy's run at AGDQ, crowd control on this is going to be a little bit crazy.
Right?
It will be.
That run was a lot of fun.
Oh man, you've seen the hallucination effect in one of the sections, right?
Change your directional control.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, well, imagine that, and you can stack it.
Oh no, you can stack it?
Yes, it's got a progression to it.
Oh, that's
So it's
awful.
stackable.
Reminds me of
Yes,
Superman 64, how the camera glitches out when you beat the game. If you beat the game like that, then it goes even worse.
I mean, if you want to be truly evil, I would
Oh,
just trigger a
sheesh.
random save point on the map, which is totally feasible.
That's
So you would just want someone to die and respawn in a random location?
Yeah,
That's awful.
that is awful.
That's
that would be. I mean, that would be like.
I love it, but that's awful.
I mean, for randomizers, that's one of the things where you can just add a flag for it, and if people are feeling like they want to be that terrible themselves, they can turn it on.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for one item right now, and once I get that item, I'm heading straight to Athetos, essentially.
Oh, let's go. What you missing?
Grapple.
Oh, yeah.
I could do it without it because I do have drone and teleport, but I really want to do it without
You mean with?
drone.
Oh, without drone. Okay.
Yeah.
The low percent grapple stress.
There we go.
Through,
Yeah, I still don't have a power node. This is brutal.
Yeah.
Really, these blocks right now. Oh my gosh. Don't
yeah,
do
when
it.
we have crowd control, I will do a crowd control rando crystal. I
mean-
fully expect my entire community to just be like, "You die now."
Well, I mean, you could trigger spawn like 4 disco balls around Trace.
Please
Right.
no.
Yes.
I think the meanest crowd control I've seen still is probably there's an option in Celeste where you can spawn a bumper inside of her hitbox and it'll send her in a random direction.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's
I don't
mean.
play enough Celeste to deal with that.
Well, I mean, I can probably think of a lot of evil shenanigans for the crowd
Oh,
control.
There's plenty. Turning
Yeah.
like any specific room into Disco Inferno is one.
Yep. By the way, did you get in touch with Jaku, VGR?
Oh, for the crowd control stuff?
Yeah.
No, I haven't talked to him, but I can do that after this event sometime.
Yeah,
That's
because
that's a 2-second thing.
we were talking at HDQ, actually, me and him.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm
Unrelated.
gonna show something new.
Yeah, back to the game real quick. VGR is currently doing some black magic shenanigans. You want to talk about that one, VGR?
The zip that I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
in Ukana. Oh, okay. I see you.
He did this.
So that one is weird to explain because the way it works is when you go through the pipe and grapple, it uses that last position to put you in the next map, and that one pipe actually works for some reason and has a place inside of bounds that works. The other ones don't, so they don't really work. But thankfully, that one's location actually lines up with the next area, and it zips us right straight to the top of the map.
Oh, so you're actually going to use drone and teleport here. You sure you don't want to just go full grapple strats?
No.
No drone
wanna
and
show off-
teleport in Maruru?
I want to show off this little, just before Sentinel. Because it's always nice to show off that little movement. After this, it's all rockets.
Oh yeah, no, this room feels real good.
Get ready for it.
Especially first try, yeah!
Oh, yeah.
That's a hard room to do that.
Beautifully executed. That was the Sentinel skip.
Now, I'm gonna delete this guy right here, because that makes climbing this area much easier. Woo, that's a lot of damage. And this is why I'm gonna save, because this next section, anything can happen. I'm usually pretty good, but with 2 coats, I only have what, 40% damage reduction.
Yeah. So coats are, if anybody here is familiar with the Metroid Prime randomizer, coats are very similar to the power suits in that. A coat isn't its maximum value in this game. It is a stacking buff. And the first 2 coats that you get are worth 20% damage reduction each, and the third one is worth 30%. So while they both have red coats, I believe they only have 2 coats. So instead of having that 70% that you would have in a normal run, by the time you get red coat, they only have 40% damage reduction.
I have all 3.
That was a cool teleport that VGR just did. I don't know exactly how that worked.
Okay, so I'm actually deleting enemies right now. Someone can probably touch on that while I try and figure this out.
For some reason, when you leave the room with drone and then immediately break drone, it deletes enemies in a radius around trace. I have no idea why this works. Also, VGR, you want to talk about that shenanigan that you just pulled?
So
that is
Wow.
one of the hardest tricks in this game.
that's a dash jump into a rocket jump, which is like a pixel perfect jump into a frame perfect jump.
So there are about 2 pixels of placement where you can get that jump off. It is a frame perfect dash off of those 2 pixels into a 5-pixel window of frame perfect upwards movement. It's
Right.
It's basically TAS only. So like VGR, you need to be stopped. You're a menace.
Are you saying that VGR is a human task?
Yeah, that's human.
Right. Me and Bluey.
Put him against TaskBot now.
I can pull off that jump. It takes me upwards of 10, 15 tries. He did it in what, 3?
A little bit more than that, but still.
Yeah, I can't even do the jump.
No, and it's hard. It's one of the hardest tricks in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll never see it in a normal run because you will always have alternatives. It's a randomizer only trick.
Mm-hmm.
And also, well, back to the action that's happening right now, I just want to say that VGR is actually quite literally on top of the situation here.
Yeah.
So that trick that he used on Sentinel to just skip past it and just act like it never even existed, he did pretty much the same thing on Athetos. So he grapples onto the ceiling, angles close enough to the tile where the game actually calculates that he clipped through 1 tile. So since he can phase dash through 3 tiles wide, there's an invisible tile, and effectively the first one is now counted towards the dash, which allows him to go above the boss fight room, and he just jump off the map. And now he's going to use Fat Beam to kill Athetos from off the map.
Yeah, this trick does require that you have a beam, a weapon labeled with a long beam within the randomizer logic. You have to have something that can penetrate walls.
Yep.
I have no idea what's going on.
Now he's just swagging.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna get a nice big view of Else Nova here though because of it. So just wait for it.
You know what? I'm watching it in Zoom and I'm seeing a very different picture. That when I look at it in Twitch, it's. Oh wait, no, never mind. No, I still don't know what's going on. Never mind.
There we go. Like here's Else Nova. Look at how long her body is.
Is it phase 3 or?
Yeah, I believe so.
I love how you left the splits on for the boss fights. Alright, you're not done.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, this gives Code some time to catch up.
So is jumping down there just to show off, or does this actually make it
Purely
faster?
swag.
It's pure swag.
Purely swag. Yeah.
If you jump off the other side, you can actually get back in bounds in the save room and appear back in Disco Inferno.
Yeah.
How do you get out of there?
I have no idea.
There's actually a way, which, if you want, I'll show it off quickly before we switch over. We can get into the room where Tom designed the first initial boss fight for this.
You know that Code could actually beat you with your. He is well on his way because he's actually fighting the boss.
Right.
This is gonna be
Yeah,
a close
but
one.
let's be honest here. Did anybody expect anything different than a real boss fight versus memes and both being on time?
Right.
Oh my god.
We gotta make it interesting. We gotta keep people guessing.
Oh!
Who's gonna win?
I think you just did.
Right?
But by like 5 seconds.
Yep.
Oh man.
We always keep our races interesting. They're always close.
Is that time?
Yeah, it's coming as soon as it fades out. And time.
There we go. So our big winner for this randomizer showcase race, video game roulette, with a final time of, drum roll please. We have 30:44, and we're gonna go with the IGT as well. Final screen coming up.
IGT does not show up in randomizer.
Oh, no, it's
due
true.
to- yes, we removed it on the Steam version.
29.
Oh yeah, we can show that like that. That's right.
Versus.
Oh, you got a 30-30, 30-29. I had a 30-32.
I
So
stand
technically-
corrected.
Yes!
Code piece one.
Let's go.
Nice. Code.
Nice. GG
Find
code.
you.
Losing to memes.
Right?
Wouldn't have it any other way though.
No
Exactly.
regrets.
No regret. No regret. I still hold the world record for randomizer over you anyways.
You were being friendly, just hitting Fat Beam like out of bounds there.
Right.
I had 4 power nodes and I was just blasting.
I had
the
no
one.
power nodes.
Yeah.
No power nodes whatsoever, so that's why you were able to catch up.
Yeah, but 4 seconds? Oh my god.
But this is what I
Yeah.
was talking about. Code's execution. Caught
Mhm.
it right back up.
Mm-hmm.
On a final boss.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to race against you, Code. Now, like I was saying, just quickly, since we have this save right here, we can do it really fast. So we touched on going out of bounds and seeing stuff outside the map. So let's actually show that off. And
I just want to point out that we're destroying those estimates so far.
right.
It's okay. You're just
Later.
making up for all the technical difficulties. I made to start late.
Oh yeah, stop
right.
playing and get some sleep.
Yeah, that's another Easter egg if you play for over 24 hours. But the reason I did that is, hey, look at this little area.
What when you trigger that, you can actually. Yeah, that's by the way, that's the original final boss design that was tucked away, hidden behind that room.
Yeah,
I did not know you could get there in game.
yes. Unfortunately, you can't get. Well, you probably could get back if you did some convoluted. No, actually, you can't actually grip that. But yeah, so that's the hidden boss that was hidden away.
It would have been great.
We never see it, but here it is.
It would have been great if that you could actually fight that boss in that room.
Right.
Oh wait, we're getting a 200 megabyte update on Axiom Verge on Steam right now. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, that's Axiom Randomizer. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we're gonna take over to the any percent with Alchemist soon. So I hope you
Sounds
guys
good.
enjoy.
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah, we'll
hosting.
be back in just a few
GQ.
minutes.
Have a good night.
Relcud, do we have a minute, Relcud?
Sure. What's up?
So I just wanted to say that Dan and Tom are actually we're going to be working VGR, the whole randomizer crew, including Lemmy and Willow, who was running IMB earlier. We're going to be working. It's not a done deal, but all parties involved actually see this happening, and we're going to be working towards that. But if everything goes well, the randomizer could be an official free DLC for the game. That's the goal that we're trying to integrate right now. And I mean that we had multiple discussions. We even discussed it on stream back in December.
Yeah, yeah.
During the No Reset Répi Saint Louis stream. And so we're actually going to set up our first tech think tank to get this working, see what the technical limitations are, and how we can actually bring this to life to make it a reality. And there's a lot of the work that's already done with external tools. Now we want to just integrate it into the actual game and give it official support. And it would actually be developed by the original randomizer team, so it would be community based but distributed by the game through free DLC. So we're gonna keep working on that. I know that VGR, you've been waiting for that to get off the ground for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And basically we're just gonna hop into a call at some point, hopefully in the
let's talk this week, because I think what happened last December is I got sidetracked with a bunch of other stuff, and so I've got the attention span of a gnat, so
no worry,
we're coming to you, Dan.
Yeah, so let's set up a time, and we'll see what we can do. I don't want to overpromise and say we're totally going to do it, because I don't know what the technical limitations are. But I from a business standpoint, I totally want to do it. There's no rights issue, or because Tom owns all of the rights, and there's nothing stopping us from doing this on any of the platforms. So it's purely technical implementation. If it's something that we can pull off, I absolutely want to do it. So yeah.
And we'd definitely be interested to do it for Axiom 2 as well, if everything goes well for 1. So
yeah, and for those people out there that want to know more about the randomizer, just stop by the Discord. We have a lot of resources, trackers, tools, and we have a lot of cool stuff that's coming up in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Some races, events. We're going to be just kind of having a weekly showcase of some certain categories and matchups.
Yeah.
And
Brain Freaks, it's been announced. it's official. There's a trailer and everything.
Okay. Sounds like we should be good to go. So I'm going to take us to a break here for a few minutes while we get set up for the any % run to close things off.
All right.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you once again to VGR and Codepiece.
You're welcome.
See you guys.
Thanks for having me.
See you, Code. Good job.
Good night, guys. Good night, G-Virus. See ya.
Good night, man. See you around.
Good night, Code.
Good night.
Thanks, Dan, for hosting. Thanks, GDQ.
So
Bye, everybody.
sorry.
Hello and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We just had a lot of fun with that randomizer race. And we've got one more run for you tonight of Axiom Verge.
Just one more run.
Yeah, we've got Alchemist who's going to run any %. And, I'm told this is an experience, but before we get too much into that, just a reminder, make sure you turn in tomorrow for Random Number Generation, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, if you enjoyed that randomizer run. It's a show about randomizers and randomizer community, but why don't you give us the lowdown? I'm told this is very different from what we've seen already, but, how much prefacing do we need before we see this?
Well, I can just give it an intro to the intro by saying that to any of you guys who've seen my two GDQ runs, so AGDQ 2016 and SGDQ 2018, I was running any %. This would today be known as no major glitches. This is essentially yes major glitches. You're going to see a lot of warping, a lot of crazy stuff happening with a bunch of equipment that I don't even collect in the no major glitches run that I did. So the old route, any %, let's call it that. And I don't want to give away too much because there's a bit of a shock factor to it. And you will be in shock and awe in front of the crazy shenanigans that are about to happen on your screen.
Probably the more extreme tricks from 100% are the mid-tier to low-tier crazy in any %.
Yeah.
So, buckle up. It's gonna be a good ride.
It's a very dangerous route as well, need I say.
Yeah, you're doing early grapple, right?
Oh yeah, early grapple.
Okay, so this is the route that made me retire for a bit because it made me so mad. Which is why I told Dan what pissed Tom off so much that day that he had to take it out on us with that one room. Because it seems like something that I would do if I were designing something and I was mad. And it's just like, oh, I'm gonna take it out on everyone who tries this part.
All right, if we're not going to explain things too much, then I'm ready to go when you are.
Yep.
All right. So can we give me the countdown? I'll start it.
All right. Well, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Start us off fairly normal. It's going to look kind of like the last couple runs that we did. Well, I guess not the last couple. Looks a little bit like 100%, but it's going to diverge pretty quickly.
So I heard someone saying in chat that if you save early on in this route, bad things happen.
In the no major glitches, yes, but because he's doing early grapple, he doesn't actually have to worry about that. This is the first time in any percent history where you can literally save anywhere you want, and it doesn't really matter.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple choices we
no
have.
major glitches. It is effectively a soft lock if you save at any point in the first 20 minutes.
Ooh, yes, there's a soft lock, and I'm prepared for it.
I'm just watching with bated breath because you guys have sold this so hard. It's like the first minute, I know nothing crazy is going to happen yet, but I'm excited.
I might have oversold this, guys. What am I going to do? What are we doing?
It's a wild ride.
I was going to say, you'll get to enjoy it when it happens.
Yeah.
While you're watching this, I want you to keep in mind that he's going for strats that I felt were too dangerous with all of the health.
By the way,
and
that
he's gonna
jump right
have
there.
remarkably little.
I just want to say that jump right there is pixel perfect, and it's actually pretty hard to pull off.
Yeah,
It is
that
pixel
and chin
perfect.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to almost jump as you're about to fall. You kind of start to see the falling animation as you jump.
Is there any coyote time in Axiom Verge, or is it just you got to be perfect?
Yeah, there's a slight frame or two where you can jump just as you're falling off the ledge kind of thing.
Also, throughout my runs, I'm pretty famous for my abundant abuse of Nova. Most people use it to get to that door, and then that's it. I like to use it a little more often.
Alchemist is the only runner I've ever seen that uses Nova consistently, just for trash mobs.
Just
I
trash mobs.
still
Random
fundamentally
fun stuff.
disagree with him on whether or not he should, but he definitely does it.
The fact that he kills him with Nova validates their trash mob status.
We're sure that his controller hates him for it as well.
We have a question in the chat from Bachman84 that is asking, what is early grapple? And I know there's a lot of history there. VGR, would you like to go over that?
Okay, so when things started, any percent didn't use grapple at all. Then a skip was found to get to grapple fast late on in the run around the time that we get drone teleport, and that was referred to as late grapple. But then eventually some skips were found with the grapple that allowed us to actually save even more time if we got grapple early, which is what you're going to see now essentially in this run. So as soon as we can get grapple, he's going to go get it.
Oh yeah.
Thus, early grapple.
And to do it, we have to go kill a little boss that we might not normally kill in any of the categories except for all bosses or 100%. Yeah, oh, so close. No. We're just doing a fast jump right there. Pretty much what the task to do, but I guess Falcon does it now, but he's on his console. I think he has a slight advantage for some reason, just console only.
Yeah.
Well, I have a slight advantage because the enemies, with my slower fall speed, the enemy gets out of the way a little bit more.
Nice.
So I'm assuming most of the Sorry, I was just gonna say, I assume most of the shooting, like the ceiling tiles and stuff, is just boredom here. There's no real purpose to it.
Oh yeah, that's
It's just bubble wrap. You gotta
It's
break
bubble
it.
wrap. It's
Yeah.
bubble wrap. That's
So the
all I've
funny
been
thing
saying.
is, on a couple of those rows, if you're at maximum red gun speed, you will hit all of them on 2 of the rows. So that's kind of like my little warm up. Now it's time for some gratuitous Nova.
Don't you also
You can just
gratuitous
jump over
Nova
that
during
guy.
Mission Impossible?
You can as easily just jump over that guy, but no, he needs to pay. All right.
Honestly, just the fact that they actually jump over you, I'm like, why would I do the extra work? They're gonna do it for me.
Right.
Exactly.
Let's go for chin jump here.
You going for chin jump?
Oh, I always go for chin jump.
Chin jump is another coyote jump that is both framing and.
Yeah.
I disagree with it. If it was up to me, it would be disallowed 100%.
A lot of things would be disallowed if they're up to
You
you.
turn on anti V-sync where it makes sure you never hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. It splices every frame of your game in 2 and interlaces them, deinterlaces them,
Bingo.
and overscans them.
I am as close. I have it on my. Okay, let's.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise, either like your cable or something. Like something's there's a lot of rattle.
Yeah.
That's his mash.
No. I mean, like it's a cable. It's the
There's
mic.
actually,
Something.
yeah, there's a background feed or something.
It's probably one of those mics where it's into the cable, like phone earbuds or something. Maybe.
Yeah, we definitely don't complain about mashing sounds in speedrunning streams.
Oh yeah. That's really not a problem. That is music to my ears, actually.
Oh, you want to hear some music? I got some music.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Oh no!
I mean, now you gotta do it.
You want to go ahead
we
and turn
called
up
for
your
it.
volume real quick?
Oh, please.
You gotta do it now.
If anybody has vivid memories of going to the dentist,
I'm kind of scared we're all gonna get banned somehow.
No. This is all
I
a
wouldn't
little
buy
bit
this
fun.
back.
Are we still off stream?
There we go.
Oh no.
you sadist, you.
That's slightly more terrible than mashing.
For the music that comes up next.
Yeah.
I still really want to have an acceptable mod for the leaderboards that disables that sound.
Ooh, I'm switching to Nova. And
Me and
to
Omar.
music.
I'm really into metal music, but this is taking it a little bit too literally.
Ha.
Ha.
Oh, I can't do a quick one. Wait, I can. Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I feel like at least half of this Nova usage has been because you mentioned it, and now he's going out of his way to do it even more.
Oh no.
No.
I mean, yes and no and yes, in the sense that yes, he's going out of his way, but no, it's not because he mentioned it. He just does.
He's
why-
the one runner that does.
He's our
this.
Nova god.
That's his
Yeah.
thing, you know.
So this is looking very similar to the 100% run earlier. It's looking very similar to the earlier random. Looks almost identical to no major glitches. When do we start to diverge?
Let's see. Right after Disruptor 2.
Right
Yeah.
after Disruptor 2?
After
Yeah.
Disruptor 2,
Yeah.
there's a very sharp
The
turn.
usual save
Because
warp
you don't
spot.
do the save and quit, so I mean.
Yeah.
So, for people who aren't familiar, how far away is that?
Not too far. One more area.
7,
He's in Z.
A couple minutes, yeah.
17-minute mark for 82.
Yeah, usually.
17.
Depends on the runner. It's anywhere from just sub 17 to 20 minutes.
Well, there is a little bit of divergence before that too, with the
Oh yeah, with the save.
The save warping.
There's a
Yeah.
save warp that's over here.
Yeah, we're gonna be save warping
We got a lot
in
of help.
her.
Anthill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anthill
oh yeah.
time.
Oh. Okay, now here's the fun room. Okay, we're gonna take this one slow. Right?
nice handheld, buddy.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was incredibly smooth. Let's see you go, though.
Yellow time.
That was beautiful.
That's not good. I hit one of the shots from the.
Yeah, he took a lot of
A little
damage.
pod shot, yeah.
There we go.
Oof, okay.
Ooh, okay, I'm glad Yo's over. Oof. Oh,
that
yeah.
was
Never in
that was
doubt, buddy.
definitely
Never in
YOLO.
doubt.
You did a good job recovering on that one.
Yeah.
So I don't even know this game that well, and that was
Big balls
terrifying.
with the wall.
Anyone
Yeah.
know CPR? Like remote CPR? Can you team viewer CPR?
Uh,
Oh, that is the real question.
I'll
Or
drive up
via-
there, Chief.
and now you understand why it's called yellow.
RNG.
Sometimes
Oh, RNG.
you have to go off script.
Hi, Coral.
Can anyone give me VN CPR?
Oh, hi, Coral.
Yeah, Coral.
G-Virus, I just want you to know that was a good pun, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I heard it as well,
Yeah,
but
YOLO Room, like that YOLO Room is scary even for very experienced runners of this game, and the way Alchemist just did it is probably the most terrifying I've ever seen it. So
I did
props
take a
to you
shot
on
from the
that
door.
one. There were at least 4 times that my run would have died in there.
Right. Although Beef has a strat for YOLO Room that I am
Oh.
completely terrified of.
Oh, yeah.
The Dragon
It's
Slayer.
the new one that we call
The
Yeah.
Dragon.
legendary Dragon Slayer strat.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think he's
afraid
the only
to
one
let
alive
that
who even is willing to go for that.
He's the
But
only
there's
one
a safe
alive
way to
willing
go
to go
up that
for
room.
lots.
If you corrupt that
Oh.
enemy, it breaks the wall to the left, and if you time it correctly, you can get on top on time to corrupt this one through the wall, which will open that hole at the top right there.
Yeah, that loses about 2 to 3 seconds on Mission Impossible 1. And I'm not sure how much it loses on Mission Impossible 2, although to be perfectly frank, I'm not entirely certain.
Oh, we have way too many Mission Impossible like that one.
Right.
I mean,
Early grabber, we have a
you,
lot.
if you do it perfectly and you get the first cycle, we timed it. It's actually 1 second faster.
Really?
Yep. It's just it's
Sure.
so hard to pull off, and the time loss is not worth it. We're not at the point where this game is optimized enough to kind of have it be the go-to. But we timed it a long time ago, me and Ryan, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There's our first difference in route there. Alchemist
And the
saved.
moonwalk, beautiful.
And the
Saving quick.
moonwalk. Oh my gosh.
Apparently, if you
Flag.
moonwalk and you hit down on the last pixel of that room in particular, you save like a frame or two. So that's what Bluey told me.
I mean, every 60
Alright.
point
Does it.
transition is a second.
Now this is some real gratuitous Novang.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh no. And yet you pulled it off really well. Great health going through that.
Well, those enemies actually do some of the least amount of damage
Oh
in the
yeah.
game.
There we go. Ah,
Alright.
oh,
Pixel
oh,
jump.
yeah. Yep.
Pixel
Nice.
jump.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but you didn't do the other
Damage
one.
boost.
Oh no. No.
Pass jump.
He nailed two pixel perfect jumps and then got hit by, and then fell off a ledge.
That room I call
A little
the
different.
that room I call the Steam Summer Sale.
making a share with the class Y G-Virus.
Because there's a lot of Steam in the room, and it's like it's discounted Steam. So, you know.
I'm the only one I know that actually does this with Nova, which is the drill and the Nova at the same time.
Full disclosure,
yeah,
relative.
recycle.
You're the only one who still has
Oh,
the Nova
yeah.
in their inventory at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Delete.
just about everybody else has rebound their controls.
By the way, Relkun, for full disclosure, I never said my Steam Summer Sale pun was actually a good one.
That's fair. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
That is a very good disclaimer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the
And we're gonna take
disclaimer.
some safety health on this one.
You taking the health node?
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing grapple room on it.
Yeah. Good call.
That is, you know, a wise man once said, get that health node.
In a super optimal 80% route, you wouldn't be collecting this health node.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not very marathon or event safe.
Especially
This
considering
gives us
what's
a whole
up next.
extra block of health.
It'd be interesting to have this much health through drone room.
I gotta say, I think you've scarred a couple of people with that YOLO room.
I'm
was-
honestly still a little bit shaken from that.
I was terrified, and I don't even know the game that well. So
YOLO
Oh,
room
I had it
is
the whole time.
I knew he had it. I was confident.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't that confident. I was pretty.
YOLO room is the real third boss.
Where am I going? Where am I going?
Yeah, I was just
Where am
about
I
to
going?
say.
Where am
I
I
thought it
going?
was literally a new
This is a new
strat.
route edition.
I was excited.
It's a new route edition right there.
It's RNG manipulation.
No, that's just to randomize
That's
the
exactly
chat.
it. I went ahead and set my, XY coordinates over there by not using drum.
This is going to set up the final boss so that it's going to take exactly one bullet less to get the kill on the final boss. That's what this does. Something about memory addresses and corrupting the FTP server with the megahertz and coupling the hard drive onto the HTTP.
Yep, I can confirm that. I'm actually Thomas Happ in a trench coat.
Oh man, turtle rocks scare me. I call them turtle rocks because I like them into the past. But
If
those
you live in
guys-
a terrifying part of the country like Jet does, you think that they look like mice.
That's true. He does.
oh my god, no, move.
Ooh.
Good thing about these guys though is that they drop health a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically all of them drop health.
It's one of the most beautiful things in the game.
Some of them are guaranteed, and then other ones only drop them if you have low health.
And the music is
Depends
beautiful
on-
in that section.
Yes, her has some of the best. Although I still argue the bonus track on the official soundtrack is my favorite. Too
Yeah,
bad it didn't make it in.
I got my vinyl right behind me, and I'm scared of ever playing it. It's
Every
so
track
nice.
in this game is a jam.
Right?
Well, this one actually is one of the first 250 copies. It's like orange, translucent. It's like one of my prized jewel in my vinyl collection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even own the turntable. I'm that kind of guy. I just buy records and I can't even play them.
They're aesthetically pleasing, at the very least.
They are. They are.
Hose these guys down. There we go.
So this is kind of a mini dungeon to get to Address Disruptor 2. This is where this run will deviate from the IMB/old 80% route. It's going to take a left turn right here. Let's just say that.
This is where we get early grapple.
This is where
It's
things
the turn.
go
Early
maybe
grapple.
more than a little bit off rails.
Oh
On the
yeah.
crazy train. Let's go.
Use this little buddy. There we go. Plop.
Okay, so this is all pretty new territory to me. I know the strats, but I've never actually seen them all put together in the route.
Ah, no
And-
G squeeze. No G squeeze 2.
That's fine. You
You know,
got
I-
two speeds.
Still damageless though.
I learned recently that this was named after me. And
That was one of my favorite moments of meeting you at GDQ. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, is G Squeeze named after you? They're like, I didn't know.
like, I don't know.
All
But I
right,
think
now.
was-
Now we're in a very dangerous territory right here.
Oh my.
Oh, okay, good. We're good. We're doing great on health right now. That room could get a little tricky.
Oh god, this room without a proper coat is just terrifying.
Oh no.
It's yeah.
And yes, I'm gonna get this guy here too. Ha! Who needed that extra health?
Not this guy. And now we're getting
Just a little harassment while I wait on that guy. And I could jump over that guy, but I don't because I died on one time and it scarred me for life, so. Need a couple seconds. Until I need a couple seconds from a world record, then, we're good.
and this is Gertab.
So this is how he looks when you're not grossly overpowered.
There we go.
Nice,
Oh,
dude.
my.
That's awesome.
That was a really fast one too, by the way.
That was a
done.
great.
Well done.
It was the door transitions you did earlier. That was the best manip I've seen.
Actually, the door transition was slower than the boss kill.
And that boss is actually among one of the harder ones to do in this category.
Because you have
If
to
I
jump
hadn't gotten
behind
out of
it.
the health node, you can only take 2 shots from him and then you die.
Yeah.
So what happens
Yeah.
with this boss is when you jump across to the other side, it turns around. But there's a very precise spot where you can jump into it, be behind it in order to have access to the damage area without triggering the flip. So and then you alternate between your weapon
Yes.
and the drill, and you just deal a lot of damage. And this room
has a couple enemies.
This
It's
is
a little
YOLO
bit
room.
more enemy dense than most of the rest of the game.
It's YOLO room redux.
When we were complaining about grapple room earlier, when you have to go up at the right direction instead of warping and falling down, this is why.
It. This is the reason why.
Oh,
Oh, that was a smooth transition
yeah,
of the blocks
this is
there.
way smoother than that. Ooh, this is dangerous. Oh,
You got this.
oh boy.
Relax.
Yeah, we're gonna go smooth. We're gonna go easy on these guys. These guys take off a plug of health.
Yeah, I mean those little Sonic Yetis, whatever they are.
Oh yeah, they hit pretty good. Hoi! Ha! Yeah, I'm doing really well on time right now.
There we go. That's a
You're
nice
doing
shot.
great, man. That was nice.
Maybe you can call world record and then
Yeah,
realize
this is
you're 50
definitely
seconds off.
PB on this one.
No, you know what?
I added 37 seconds to my drone, so I'm good.
You got your splits running?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just seeing how it's going. And then
You're
we're
doing
gonna
good
go
so
to
far. Very impressed with this. The triple moonwalk.
I did get a PB earlier today, and that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
I did a warm up run earlier today, and it was basically 10 minutes after I woke up, and I was like, I sub 130 that.
I mean, if you get a second PB today, you could say you got a PB sandwich. which is-
Ooh.
Oh, you have tread on uncertain ground, my friend.
Uh-oh. Oh, not the sandwich.
One of the lingering debates in the community is what is and is not a sandwich.
Discord. There's a very good chance that we'll be having a debate about sandwiches.
Well, actually, another debate I could start is that whenever I'm on Moraka, I would just crouch and hit the Axiom Disruptor and then get up and move like a little bit forward. It would look like, Trace was just farting laser beams, and I would have a lot of fun with that.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's my guilty pleasure about this game. You heard it here first, folks. Like this is what it is. Yeah, you need to crouch first, fire, then get up.
Oh, I could have used this time to do some Nova. Was I thinking? Okay. So here's another part. It's gonna be a little different than the rest of the one of the recently found out ones. There we go.
And here it is. Laser skip.
Very nice.
There we go. There's our skip. And now we're going to into that trick that I just did. We're basically do a blind version.
Yep.
Very, very clean on drug skip there.
By the way, drug skip is actually referring to an actual item.
There we
in the
go.
game.
There we go. Oh no, I'm soft locked. We're okay. We're good. I'll do the print screen. There we go. I got out.
Okay.
There's a spot in here. If you go too close, you can actually get stuck in the map. But you can use print screen to get out of it. There we go. That's it right there.
Then you weren't soft lock.
Not soft lock. Sorry. Partial.
You can take a soft lock.
Soft lock. If you didn't have print screen, okay, it was soft lock.
Yeah, it
So-
used to be a soft lock.
It used to. Yeah, it used to be a soft lock back
I
until
was-
you know.
I was not prepared to sit back down in time to hear, oh, soft lock, it's okay. I'll use print screen.
No, he was
No,
just
soft lock
caps-
happens. Could happen later.
No, he was caps locked basically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It wasn't soft.
My only regret is that you can't Nova this boss.
Oh, I know, right? Gosh, what's this awful weapon he's using? The disruptor? Boof.
Ooh, nice manip there.
Oh yeah.
So after you kill Vision, there's a cutscene where a drone comes out of that left pipe there and walks up to Trace's body and drags his body off here, as you can see there. In most other categories, you have not enabled them by that point, so it doesn't show up. And that cutscene ends faster if you use a bomb to push Trace over a little bit further to the left.
Yeah. It's whenever the drone gets to your body, basically.
Because yeah,
So
that's
drone.
what triggers the end of the cutscene when the drone gets to Trace. Maybe more to the left.
This part's basically grapple as much as you can to save time. Few key grapples here and there. Oh yeah.
Let's go.
There we go.
Man. That Nova. It's just
This guy hits like a truck, so we're gonna corrupt this first one. Even though I have a lot of health. Oof. There's a second we're gonna run through it, but watch how much health this guy takes off. Boom, 2 bars. Those guys are dangerous.
oh yeah. They've killed a couple of my runs in the past, so
And that's exactly what I did blind. That trick right there is what I did blind on the. So WRL couldn't see it on that right before the vision boss.
That's what you did to get out of the not
Easy,
quite a soft
easy
lock.
peasy.
Yep. Now I've got brown coat. We can go ahead and head on up. Get drone teleport.
So I know we explained the whole print screen thing very early on the broadcast, but a few people appear to be have missed that and are confused in chat. You want to go over that again?
Okay, so the way PC games work, at least on Windows format, when you push the print screen button, it interrupts the draw frames for the process, right?
Because it captures the screen essentially for
Yeah.
one frame.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So it basically takes the game from, let's say, if you're on a top-notch PC, 600 frames per second to 0. And in that instance that it's climbing back up the FPS from the screenshot, it moves you forward a pixel or other situations depending on how you use it, right? And so, like,
There we go. That's it right there.
a good example during Octopath
And
at
that's
GDQ, someone used a home button strat to get past an area for something special. That's the same thing as what we're using here, and it's been used in many other speed runs, and people just don't really understand why it's happening, and that's actually what's happening.
So right now I'm killing myself on purpose so that I can not reset the drone. Because if you do a save and reset, it'll reset the drone's position. But if you die, it'll save the position, and I get to do a cool trick after this, where I drop into that pink puddle again, like y'all seen before.
Okay.
So I purposely died there, by the way. If y'all are wondering why I was jumping at the enemies and or taking lots of health damage.
Yeah, it
So
looked like you were intentionally taking some damage there leading up to that.
Yes.
He spawned the drone, then died without recalling the drone or teleporting to it.
Yes.
Which
So I
sets
cannot
up-
use the drone right now. It's off limits right now.
And also,
You're wasting more Nova time, though.
Oh, I know, right?
I waited until you were at the end of the ride to do that on purpose.
and
So
yes,
rude.
So I can shoot something that makes a lot of noise instead.
I just want to confirm that this effectively skips Oku.
Yes.
The
Correct.
big boss,
Correct, it
boss
does.
completely. So
Yeah.
that is
100%.
100%
That's
So I'm doing
that
yet another
bypasses
blind
it.
route over to a door. So once you hit the door transition, you can go inside the door. There we go. So we're gonna shift around a little bit. We're just versing as much map as possible by not walking to these areas.
this is basically magic carpet. You know, you just fly off into the sunset.
I can
Congrats on
show
not
you
getting
the
soft lock.
world.
I'm not sure if I forgot. Well, yes, I have. Never mind. But there's always a chance.
If there's anybody I've seen soft lock on random door transitions, it's you.
Oh yeah. Well, the mother of all soft lock transitions is coming up right now.
I believe in
This
you.
is by far the easiest way to soft lock.
Yeah, what exactly is the tech on soft locking when you fire a drone through a door?
That's a good question.
Because I've seen Alchemist do that 100 times.
If
But I don't know
if you fire it
exactly
down
how.
while you're at the last frame of entering it, it'll shoot your drone out, but you'll go through the door and you can't. And right now
Oh.
I'm trying to do the temple skip, which is a little grapple zip that we do right here.
Yep.
Oh, you guys are in for a treat.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
Do.
if it's an instant one, do the pause button.
Oh boy,
You know,
yeah.
'cause the thing is, we're not really good at this game. You
There
know,
we go,
the-
got it.
The people that speedrun it,
And 1, 2, 3.
and we tend to find
There you
ways
go.
of not playing the game.
The lasso.
What in the world?
Yep.
So right now I'm making my way down to Red Coat
in-
Blind. So
Down
I've
in
got,
green hell right now.
You know Green Hell, the big green room before getting the red coat?
Yeah.
He's doing this blind right now.
He's doing it blind.
Yeah.
8,
So,
9,
it used
10,
to be
11,
a
12.
major run killer in any percent because health management and pathing through.
Now, the map is loaded, but
Let's
the
not.
enemies are not. So he's going through Green Hell without...
There we
there's
go.
No one's loaded.
So that's quite a journey that I just did completely blind, by the way.
Yeah.
And
So
now
he
the
went through
camera
that
has to
entire
catch
room
up.
where, like with all of the bush enemies, they're not loaded, but he had to platform through 3 sections and find an invisible door in the ground that's completely indistinguishable from regular ground.
By the way,
Right.
guys, in chat we got our pal Bluey saying, "Tom, happy if you're watching, please don't patch this."
We'll cut it out of the VOD.
We're good, Bluey. Don't worry about it. We got this.
Someone else in chat is asking if Alchemist has the room memorized. He does indeed have the room memorized.
Yeah,
sounded
so a lot
like
of
it
us
was,
who run this category have memorized it.
Sounded like you were counting jumps to like get
Counting
through
out
that
all
room.
the dashes with
Dash.
the
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and now we're ready to go to the final boss. Got everything.
Every one of us has a
go.
different setup, but we all count our setups, so that way we know exactly where we are at any given point.
Yeah,
Some
makes
of us
sense.
is a little
Not
faster,
Hmm.
and it's not by me. I do it a little bit slower, but
I used to speedrun a game where you wound up so far out of bounds you were just walking on visible walls in pure blackness.
oh, there we go.
I
Right.
had to count
Luckily
like
for
jumps and
us,
stuff.
Yeah, luckily for us, we have tools to unlock the camera
this?
and practice. So
Oh,
we're
that's
able
nice,
to
yeah.
develop strats and then take it and use it in a real run.
I mean, you know, with all the blindfolded stuff that's happening, I mean, we were at Line ETS a couple of weeks ago with No Reset, and Persian Player did a blindfolded run of A Link to the Past Master Sword,
Yep.
and that was just
Oh,
Mind
first try
blowing.
door grapple. Excellent job.
Nice.
So you just
Anything-
casually did things through the
And
game
in
there.
the wall. There we go. We're gonna get out of the wall. There's a way to get in the wall if you do your drone just right in there, and I just got in the wall. But I'm out of it, so we're good.
So how much did we just skip?
a lot.
A lot, as you can
The
see.
whole ascension basically is what I call it,
Yeah.
and you're basically just right at the final area of the game. You go through that door,
Yeah.
go up 2 rooms, and there you have it.
Yeah, that saves a very long and precise series of vertical drone swaps, which are like the least fun kind of drone swaps.
But funny enough, it doesn't save much time.
I kind of have to start learning this.
If you put in the practice to do it optimally, it doesn't say that. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get this save right here.
Yeah, it doesn't save a ton of time over first try Ukana climb, but unless you're very experienced at doing Ukana climb, it's very rare that you would get first try.
Exactly. So it's more consistent and it's free. So why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, back in my day when we had to do it manually, I was practicing for days.
Right?
Ooh, I'm glad I took that save.
There's still something nostalgic to doing the climb up the shaft.
Come on, first try grapple skip. Let's go.
First try Sentinel skip, you got
Ooh,
this.
that's not good. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Okay, now you gotta be really careful for the next round.
Oof, da.
This will be fun. This will be spicy right here.
First try.
Building the drama. We love it.
I made that look incredibly easy. That's probably the best I've done it in a very long time.
Nice, dude.
Right. Nice. Good job.
So that's another application of grapple code, is you can go vertically through the 3 blocks above Sentinel and then just not have to worry about it. Your iframe is just long enough.
Oh goodness, that room was brutal though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you
Oh my god.
messed up that a little bit. You almost had it.
I know. Oh, I got a little nervous after I had that good.
Yeah.
A wee bit shaky.
I
at
don't
the end
blame
here.
you. This
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
part of the
I
run
know the
that could
feeling,
kill a lot of runs too.
When you get the Maru jitters,
Yeah.
Oh, it's real.
And
It
it's
doesn't
funny
help that
because
the rooms are physically more confining.
right. And it's not a hard area, but because of the,
These guys hit like a truck is a thing.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Especially these T-type sentry drones. Highest damage in the game, projectile.
exactly.
They hit
I mean-
like a truck that's spawning
it's a bit
more
slower,
trucks.
but it's a bit slower, but it's a lot safer to just red code dash through that corridor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Alright, you got this.
And yes, of course, we're taking this one. I'm doing great on time, actually.
You're doing great,
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
yeah,
you've
take
done
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's a great run, man. You got this. The hardest part is behind you. Athos is free. You got this.
free is a strong word.
That's true. So one of those drones gets out of sync.
They'll be fine.
Just remember, drone on the right has health. So
Yeah, first one on the right.
So
Oh, you
either
mean that
do
one?
or do not kill it.
The one in the
Everybody just
middle
show
right
you.
now that he just killed.
Absolutely destroy it every time. First one.
Yep.
We all do it. We all do it.
It always goes
Yeah.
center.
Not destroy
It always
It
goes right
always
underneath the
does.
gem. It always does.
Yep.
And here's my spicy
There is
sauce
ways
that I
to
had.
manipulate it, but yeah, a lot of the times because we're going straight for the gem, they'll be right there. But if you move a little bit to the right, you see those like I call them
It's
feet.
not good.
The three little things at the bottom there.
Yep. Yep.
If you line up on the right hand side of those and then jump up, they'll actually line up there instead, and then you can hit the gem without actually hurting them. Because they do go off your they go off your position, and a lot of times they try to do triangle kind of patterns around you. You'll notice sometimes.
There we go.
There you go. Got the E health.
There's the triangle pattern right there.
All right, last phase.
Let's go. You got this.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate exactly how ridiculous the strats
Oh,
are for
man.
navigating in any percent YMG?
Oh,
So
final
close.
phase. So close.
Did I jinx it?
Luckily we saved. Oof.
Yep. Luckily,
I got a
we
bad
saved.
pattern.
That's what we have an estimate for.
Bingo. I just wanted to show y'all how you can,
How you can choke.
The depth manipulation.
how you could be about
Manipulating the
3
RNG.
more shots away and still,
Yep. And even after you finish all 3 phases, you still gotta survive until it all counts down.
Until the
So,
also Nova animation, yeah.
yeah.
Apoptosis is extremely hard in either any percent category because you have basically no power nodes, very little health, very upset with your existence, and you have to do a lot of very precise movements and shots while juggling those massive number of inputs.
And these things all hit like a truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why we always say no run is ever safe.
No. So right now, what he's trying to do is
there we go.
Drova? No. Yeah,
Oh.
Drova.
Drillver.
Drover, yeah. Drova is the other one.
The only time he's not using Nova.
Right?
Oh, spoke too soon.
Right? You say it. But basically, he's using Kilver and Drill at the same time to do more damage to the boss.
Oh, look at that health drop. That is
Yeah.
clutch.
Oh yeah.
That was clutch health. I could use that last time. That would have been nice if I had that last time.
Well, the thing is, if you
Excellent
clear the
first phase.
second wave, by the way, if you clear the second wave before the third one appears, one of the 3 will give you a drop every time.
2 of them
Two of them.
will.
Oh no.
Yeah.
2 of the 3, yeah. 2 of the 3.
Yeah,
GG, man. Nice job.
Oh,
there we
That was,
go.
that was
Coming up on time again.
Let's see, IGT.
37-35.
37, 35, and 20 frames.
Nice.
There we
Good
go.
job, buddy.
18%, 38%, 2 deaths.
I
One
think
intentional.
One intentional. One intentional,
One
though.
Yeah.
I like to thank
Yeah.
everybody's watched for this opportunity. I've never got to be before this big of a stage, and everybody that invited me. I'm super stoked. I think I've had like 6 people maximum, so I really appreciate everybody being here.
Well, it's a good
Yeah,
run.
no problem,
Thanks for
buddy.
being here.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
I want to say thanks to everybody who participated today, not just everybody who's here. We know people who are not here currently. Of course, we had the developer that I forgot the name of. Let me scroll down and find
Dan
out.
Edelman,
Dan Edelman joining us.
the
That was,
business half of the Axiom Verge team.
that was definitely fun hearing his reactions to some of the crazy things you were doing early on.
Yeah.
Of course, Code Piece and Jet. Falcons Freak is here. Is that everybody's just not here currently?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone who came and watched, as well as everybody from Axiom Verge came to show off their game. Just as a reminder for the community spotlight, if you type !spotlight in chat, There's a form there you can fill out if you want to suggest a game that you'd like to see on this show. Make sure you tune in Tuesday for a random number generation, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And Alchemist, do you have any final shoutouts before we go on a raid?
Oh man, no. no. I just everybody's here. Just super grateful to be here. Thanks a lot.
All right. We're gonna raid the Condor League, which is Crypto Necrodancer Online Racing League, because they're running right now. Later on this month, they're actually gonna be holding their finals on Hotfix. So if you're not too familiar, you should check them out. It's a lot of fun. Go cheer on the racers, and we'll see you tomorrow for a random number generation.